And Eric Hovde just conceding defeat to Democratic Senator Tammy Baldwin, who won by less than 1%. Hovde also deciding not to request a recount. This as an automatic recount begins in Pennsylvania, where Democratic Senator Bob Casey has not conceded a less than half-point loss to Republican Dave McCormick.
Some blue counties say they're now counting ballots that do not have the required signatures or dates, which is against the law, and that's according to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that ruled that months ago. Now the RNC and McCormick's teams are suing at least 4 Pennsylvania counties.
Fox's Alexis McAdams. Casey's campaign has accused McCormick of trying to disenfranchise voters. The recount has to finish by next Tuesday. With that seat, Republicans have an incoming 53-seat majority. But Florida Republican Senator Marco Rubio is nominated by President-elect Trump to be Secretary of State. So Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is already vetting possible replacements.
DeSantis says he will likely make a selection by January. Whoever is picked can serve only 2 years before a special election is mandated for someone to fill the remainder of the term.
Fox's Evan Brown. That term ends in January of 2029. Russia accusing the U.S. of escalating the conflict with Ukraine as President Biden allows Ukraine to use long-range U.S. weapons deep into Russian territory with support from several allies.
President Biden's decision, I'm told by a senior U.S. official, was spurred by the Russian decision to invite 10,000 North Korean soldiers into the fight against Ukraine in Kursk in western Russia along the Ukraine border. A second U.S. official adds it's not clear at this point whether the president plans to authorize the use of the ATACMS, or American long-range strike weapons, beyond the Kursk region.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Unsettled skies through the afternoon on this Monday with periods of rain and some thunderstorms possible. It's windy and 68. Any wet weather gone by midnight at the latest, but it's windy and mild overnight, 58. Then on Tuesday, sunny, 64 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny skies, maybe a spot shower. Colder Wednesday and Thursday in the 40s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We've been hearing so long about government mandates all these years. It's coming true unless something changes this year yet. Then maybe it could be stopped. If not, homeowners, if you need an air conditioner, if your air conditioner is old now, get the equipment that you can still get before they say you can't have it. Not to scare you, they scared you. I'm just saying the equipment we have right now, unbelievably better than what you have because your equipment's 15 or 20 or 30 or 40 years old. So if you're looking and if your system's that old or if people are saying it's old and you do, I'm not going to waste your time. But if you call me, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois, the easiest of numbers. All right. So it's not the easiest. I have forgotten the number, even as many times as I put it up. But 314-293-2600 or go to the internet, BartInman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stiefel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
You've been listening to the very popular Wellness One for many years, Saturdays and Sundays on 97.1 FM Talk. We're happy to share that we've expanded the show to 4 times a week. Yes, 4 times every weekend. Saturday at 10 a.m., Saturday at 8 p.m., Sunday at 9 a.m., and Sunday at 2 p.m. It's the same great show designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you a common sense, science-based strategy for a healthy life. So join TJ and Aaron for Wellness One. Now 4 times a week on 97.1 FM Talk.
Is thinning hair or a receding hairline making you self-conscious? Try Hair Grow from New Nordic. Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start feeling your best with Hair Grow. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for being with us on a beautiful fall, autumn-like Monday afternoon here in St. Louis. We are grateful that you're hanging out with us. A reminder, you can stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, anywhere you go, crystal clear connection. Go download and find 97.1 FM Talk and the Annie Fry Show. Every day that we are watching Donald Trump continue to assemble his cabinet, his appointees, a huge congratulations to Will Scharf on his appointment to be the secretary. I should have had it written down. He's like the office. He's head of the office. He told me specifically that he will see all the documents that go into the president and come out from the president's office.
Yeah.
He oversees all of that. And he said that during George W. Bush's presidency, do you know who had that position? Brett Kavanaugh.
That's right.
Yeah.
I saw that this weekend.
Yeah. So it's really exciting for Will Scharf.
White House staff secretary.
Staff secretary.
It's that staff word I can never remember
Yeah.
either.
It's incredible for him. Well-deserved. I remember when he was running for attorney general, he would kind of tell us, like, the president would be like, you don't want to be attorney general of Missouri. You want to come work with me after I win. And he's like, I would really like to be the attorney general. And it didn't work out, but it worked out. And, we're very happy for Will Scharf. We'll be having him on the show again in due time to talk about everything that is taking place there. But watching these cabinet appointments come in, these staff, the advisor appointments, it's really exciting to see. Some of them are making me a little more anxious than others. And truth be told, and the Matt Gaetz one is the one that I'm just like still a little bug-eyed about. I'm not going to be sad if Matt Gaetz becomes the Attorney General of the United States. I think we need to make that clear. I'm going to be shocked.
You know why?
Which is different.
You won't be sad, though, because he's going to go through a rigorous process. And if he comes out of that and is still the Attorney General, you will say, okay.
And when you have a 53-seat majority in the Senate, you have the ability for some people to stand on their own principles or whatever it is that's pressuring them to vote no and still potentially get passed. You can lose 3 senators, 3, 2, 1. I guess you could lose, if you lose 3, then it's 50-50 or 50 whatever. And J.D. Vance gets to be the tie vote there. Ryan Schmelz is going to be with us in 15 minutes or so. He's Fox News Radio's Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. He's going to give us the latest on what's going on there on Capitol Hill with these appointments, how we're going to talk about recess appointments with him as well, which is something we've discussed. We talked about it with Hans von Spakovsky, but I think it's something that we need to continue to talk about just in practicality. We're going to talk about this a little bit later in the show, too. I think probably in the 2 o'clock hour. Brian Stelter he got fired from CNN, and then somehow he crawled back in, and they were like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wrote an article for Reliable Sources, and he was talking about like what the media can learn from this election, and he was like making suggestions. I think he still teaches, possibly at one of those Ivy League schools. He was talking about adjustments that need to be made going forward with the media, because a lot of the media are gobsmacked about what took place. They can't believe it. And the reason they can't believe it is because they have been existing in an alternate reality than you and I have. They're not people who ever actually pay attention to the price tag on butter when they put it in their cart. They probably aren't ever the one putting the butter in their cart. They don't understand what it's like to deal with the economy the way it's been kicking our butts. They are plugged in enough to the system that they benefit from it more than they're hurt by it. And you and I don't have the ability to experience that. Well, one of the things that Brian Stelter said, which I actually thought that's something that we try to do here on the show, and I thought this is actually a good suggestion. But he was talking about when the media goes on and has experts on and is talking about, for example, tariffs, and talking about why tariffs are good things and why tariffs would be bad things or whatever. He said the media needs to begin to first ask the question, what is a tariff? Which seems silly to some, but I really don't believe that most of the people who are running the show in the major media outlets understand. I'm 40 years old. We're all in our 40s. We were babies when Reagan was the president. So if you want to talk about the Cold War, we studied it. We do not know it or understand it from real world experience. And even to say that out loud is it feels like it diminishes me in like my ability to speak about things, because even at 40, I still feel kind of young in this industry. But there is so much incestuous type of discussion that comes out of news and media, commentators, experts, fellows, like all of these types of things, where you have to be really into the club to even understand the conversations that are taking place. And if that's the case, then it really makes more sense to me that younger people, and we can determine what younger people is, that younger people would be easily duped by what Donald Trump will do and what he won't do, when the people who are doing the speaking on how terrible and scary Donald Trump is aren't actually explaining things in ways that people understand. They're just taking everything for granted. That most people, you could go out and ask 100 people downtown St. Louis right now what a tariff is. Maybe 25% would be able to tell you what it is. Like, actually?
Maybe. Yeah, and there was a lot of consternation about that before the election from think tanks. There were a lot of people trying to get people scared of tariffs before the election, because it was they were looking for anything they could find on the economy. And they're like, well, let's go with that. Trump talks about that.
And they pick it because less people know what it means.
Yeah. And we can explain this to you. We can explain this really well. And so it kind of percolates in liberal circles and these kind of academic worlds that nobody...
Even Donald Trump would say, when he was asked about it, that tariffs can be a very bad thing. That's why you use them in negotiation. You're not using... The tariff isn't the end of the policy. The tariff is the beginning of the policy. The tariff is the avenue that we're doing the same thing. Like, we're talking about tariffs right now without like an actual definition of them. Stephen Moore will be on with us at 1:00, and we will ask him specifically, because he'll go. This is what Steve Moore's going to do. And Steve Moore advises Donald Trump on economic policy, like direct line connection. So he's going to be the type of guy who you would expect to speak at this really high level, because he's at the highest level of this conversation. But I will ask him, like, can you explain to us what a tariff is? He's going to say, well, Annie, I'm a free trade guy. He's going to say that. And I'm going to ask him the basic super, elementary questions, because that's the only way we can be more educated on what is actually happening. We have societally relied so much on our favorite personalities in the media to like in the cartoons where the top half of your head just opens up on a hinge and then they put the information in and then it closes, and then you just go on your merry way. I feel like, good grief, it's impossible for me to be objective on this issue, but I feel like specifically liberals in this country, that's what they've been doing for so long. That it has just been, you know who your enemy is, and then everything else is just an avenue that day to hate him again today. Over and over and over.
Which is why this is such an interesting time, because you see things like, different media outlets saying maybe we need, personalities say maybe we need to reassess this. Maybe this is an actual moment where people are having that discussion behind enemy lines and saying, we just lost. Maybe a dialogue is good.
Well, thank you for that beautiful segue, Ryan Wiggins. Mika and Joe, and every time I see Mika, this is just my female response to seeing Mika. Every time I see her, she looks like she just put on a lot of makeup, so you can't tell she was crying.
Okay, I would never have picked that up.
Women specifically will know what I'm saying, but she just kind of has the look like she was sad.
Yeah, I could see that.
And this is really no different. But Mika and Joe went on MSNBC, of course, Morning Joe, to announce that they went to Mar-a-Lago to sit down with Donald Trump and have a conversation.
Friday, we were given the opportunity to do just that. Joe and I went to Mar-a-Lago to meet personally with President-elect Trump. It was the first time we have seen him in 7 years.
Now, we talked about a lot of issues, including abortion, mass deportation, threats of political retribution against political opponents, and media outlets. We talked about that a good bit. And it's going to come as no surprise to anybody who watches this show, has watched.
I don't like his laugh there. When I was watching this the first time, it's such a fake laugh. It's an insert of levity to the situation because he knows that the people who are listening to him at that point are like, "You did what?" He's like, we disagreed on everything. Yeah, but you're at Mar-a-Lago. You went to meet, you went and broke bread or whatever it is with the mortal enemy that you've been telling us that the country would completely dissipate under his leadership, and now you're hanging out with him. He's like, we disagree on abortion. And Mika still looks like she's covered up or crying.
It over the past year or over the past decade that we didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
What we did agree on was to restart communications. My father often spoke with world leaders with whom he and the United States profoundly disagreed. That's a task shared by reporters and commentators alike. We had not spoken to President Trump since March of 2020, other than a personal call Joe made to Trump on the morning after the attempt on his life in Butler, Pennsylvania. In this meeting, President Trump was cheerful, he was upbeat, he seemed interested in finding common ground with Democrats on some of the most divisive issues. And for those asking why we would go speak to the president-elect during such fraught times, especially between us, I guess I would ask back, why wouldn't we? 5 years of political warfare has deeply divided Washington and the country. We have been as clear as we know how in expressing our deep concerns about President Trump's actions and words in the coarsening of public debate. But for nearly 80 million Americans, election denialism, public trials, and January 6th were not as important as the issues that moved them to send Donald Trump back to the White House with their vote. Joe and I realize it's time to do something different, and that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
Can you? What if you'd have done that before the election? What if you would have been willing to open up a dialogue with him before the election? You have not had a conversation with this man since 2020, and you were telling everybody that he was such a threat to democracy, that he was Nazi-esque, that he was Hitler-esque. You've been doing that for 4 years. You had an entire election cycle, and you never spoke to him, and after he wins, you're like, I guess we should chat. Now? This is a hostage situation. MSNBC has to have said to them, you can't continue doing what you're doing and stay on the air. You have to figure out how to make a sea change here.
It's also amazing to hear these people say, you know what, it's probably good to meet with your adversary. First of all, I can't believe that they're saying, well, he's our adversary, basically, is what they're openly saying. But also Mika saying, my dad, he was good at this. He would talk to foreign leaders and people that he disagreed with. Do you remember in 2018 when Trump met with Kim Jong-un? I just pulled up headlines. They did nothing but mock him for meeting with foreign leaders that they disagreed with. And now they're meeting with
leaders they disagree with?
Yeah, exactly.
This is just the biggest confirmation post-election that I've had so far, that not only did Donald Trump win the election, he's won the culture.
It's a good point.
The YouTube live chat poll for today is simple. Is Donald Trump cool? Yes or no? If you paid any attention to football this weekend, I saw it in the other lamer version of football, soccer. I don't know who it was. Sorry, you're a soccer guy. I forgot.
No, it's okay. Football Europeo. That's what we call that one.
It was an English team. That was like across the world.
Doing the Trump dance.
Oh, I missed this.
Yes, you get the Trump dance going, and it's worldwide. Is Donald Trump cool? If Mika and Joe have made it this far, purely fueled on TDS that is insatiable by a portion of the electorate, not only is the electorate for what they're offering large enough in the Electoral College, they are legitimately in the minority now, as are their ratings, and their future cannot look too terribly bright under the circumstances of continuing to follow the status quo. This is a very interesting, to me, a huge indication that we culturally have determined on the whole that Donald Trump isn't who they said he was. That doesn't mean that everybody agrees on who he actually is. But people have rallied around Donald Trump, not just electorally, because when you're doing this at an English soccer game, they're probably getting their votes in Pennsylvania. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
When
takes a few extra days.
It does. Dates and stuff. Time change. Time zones.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
International date line.
Yes. I mean, what even?
Prime meridian.
What do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Longitude.
Right. Latitude, too.
Yeah.
It takes a few days. Or weeks.
Whatever it needs.
Whatever it needs.
Find me the votes, Ryan Wiggins. Just find me the votes.
Oh, careful.
No, I think this is how you do it.
Oh, okay.
Now. This is how you do it now.
Oh, gotcha.
I think that Mika and Joe do not. You would really think that after an election, this is where this type of pushback, this TDS pushback, they get to be the destination for people who oppose this administration. There is something to that. When Barack Obama won in 2008, and I was at the station in February of 2009. So I started like a week or two after Barack Obama was inaugurated. There was kind of a surge of people who came to 97.1 because it was a place to be, because you were in opposition politically to what the administration was, and you wanted to be among like-minded people, and you knew you could do that. This is an opportunity for people on MSNBC to go, hey, this is our moment. Fox News has been doing their Fox News thing this whole time. They're going to have their viewership, but now our people need a place to go. If Mika and Joe are on their morning show and they're talking about meeting with Donald Trump, something bigger than just a political defeat has happened here. It may last 48 hours. If Donald Trump is able to use this momentum for good, which I think he absolutely can, and I don't really see any indication at this point that he's going to step on his own opportunities here, I think it's huge, because I would much rather win the culture than a political campaign. YouTube live chat poll, is Donald Trump cool? Yes or no? Would love to know why you think what you think on this. So go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel, leave a vote in the poll right there, and tell us why you voted the way you did. Josh said 100. Trump has more street cred than most rappers and more felonies. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Let's Go to break. Go to break.
That was a good out.
Yeah, I know. Josh said, Trump has more street cred than most rappers and more felonies. We disagree on everything, including abortion, Joe said. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
STS-armory.com if you are interested in buying a firearm, if you are interested in getting a conceal and carry license, if you are interested in just asking about a FOID card, like, good grief, where do you even start in the state of Illinois? I'll tell you where you start. You start at STS Armory. That's a pretty simple one. If you go online to STS-armory.com, you're going to learn everything you need to know. They've got a website that has been upgraded in the last half of the year or so, and you can really see different inventory of what they have. You can see different offerings that they make. I also want you to encourage you to check out the accessories that they have there. Specifically, I've bought multiple safety devices there, like security devices, safes that can make it so that in a household where you've got little hands, that you are definitely protecting yourself, being able to protect yourself, but also those loved ones around your home safely. And if you've got questions about what's legal in Illinois, what's not legal in Illinois, there was just a lawsuit in Illinois, does that mean I can buy this now? They know the answers to all of these questions. Call STS Armory directly at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, or you can visit them online right now at sts-armory.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury Firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Fall weather is on its way. Time to schedule your heating system check to make sure you heat your home safely. Schedule your heating system check today at aircomfortservice.com.
We know you've got an interesting take on things. You can tell us by clicking the microphone button next to Listen Live when you're on the Odyssey app. Record a short message for us to hear when you tune into 97.1 on the Odyssey app. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Well, look, I hope that the Ethics Committee will stick by our tradition and protocol for the reasons I just articulated. I think this would take us down a path there where I don't know how we'd return if the House Ethics Committee and its resources, which are significant, substantial, could be used to investigate people who are not in the House, then where would that end? I mean, people could weaponize that function of government as well. The reason that Matt Gaetz is such an exciting pick to so many people is because he will go in and reform the Department of Justice. It desperately needs it. Look, he and I sat on the Judiciary Committee together for almost 7 years before I became Speaker of the House, and we heard the evidence. We saw the evidence of lawfare. We saw how the Department of Justice had been used for political purposes, how they targeted Catholics in some examples and parents at school boards and pro-life Americans. This is not what our system of justice was built to do, and Matt Gaetz will go in there and shake it up. And I think most of the American people understand that's an important function.
That's Speaker Johnson talking about Matt Gaetz' appointment to the Attorney General position. And as you know, Matt Gaetz, upon his appointment, resigned from the House of Representatives that day, and he had an ethics report out there. This is all a part of a bigger conversation surrounding specifically the House of Representatives with these appointments. The majority for the Republicans, are they going to be able to shore this up to make sure that they continue to solidify that majority? We are joined now by our friend Ryan Schmelz, back with us. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent is with us. Ryan, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Hey, always great to be on, Annie. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we appreciate you. Tell me about the feeling right now. Of course, Donald Trump wins the election. It's going back to the Republican side. The Senate, strongly Republican, so no more 50-50 split there. But the House of Representatives, there's a lot going on.
There certainly is. And, I think there's this level of fear in the House of Representatives right now that they might just lose their majority if President-elect Trump keeps taking some of their members and putting them in their cabinet. Now we're talking about 3 members that have been selected over the last couple of days. Now, the big thing is going to be is kind of getting over the shock value of Matt Gaetz being selected as the Attorney General. And, I think there's a lot of talk about what this means for the House Ethics Committee report that you just brought up with Speaker Johnson's soundbite right there. And, we learned actually just a couple of hours ago that the House Ethics Committee is expected to meet on Wednesday and discuss the status of that report. So there's a lot of moving parts right here. And of course, this has created a bigger legal battle of whether or not that report can be released and whether the Senate can get their hands on it or at least get information from it.
Ryan Schmelz with us right now. Do you feel like, is Mike Johnson feel comfortable about these appointments? Elise Stefanik, Congressman Waltz there in Florida, I believe, and Matt Gaetz, of course. Does he feel like we can replace these with Republicans? He's not worried about it?
Just about all of them are from safe districts. So I don't think there's a too much of a level of worry. Right now, he's been pushing to get Governor Ron DeSantis to pretty much start the special election process in Matt Gaetz's district as soon as possible, with the hope that they could get that seat filled by early January before the new Congress takes over. Now, I think that there is a little bit of wishful thinking there, but at the same time, I think they want to get these seats filled as soon as possible. And of course, they have to deal with Kathy Hochul in New York, and there's no telling when she's ultimately going to do this. And, she's got some legal binding, commitment she has to do when it comes to filling Elise Stefanik's seat, but she could run out the clock on that and wait till the last minute. And then Republicans are stuck with a couple of weeks of, an even slimmer majority than they already did have going into this Congress.
We're speaking with Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent Ryan Schmelz. I'm looking right now at the New York Times report here. 12 of 25 Senate confirmation appointments that have been made so far. Matt Gaetz, who has he's resigned his position in the House, so that seat is vacated right now. But Elise Stefanik, she would also need to be confirmed by the Senate, or what we keep hearing, especially on X, there's a lot of posts about it. We don't need the Senate to confirm anyone. We'll just do recess appointments. Can you, in an elementary way, break down for us what it means to get recess appointments, and then also the likelihood that you would potentially see a Secretary of State or an Attorney General be approved through this recess appointment maneuver?
Right. So the idea of a recess appointment is essentially if the House and the Senate are both in recess for 10 days, I believe is the number, then the president of the United States can appoint a cabinet secretary within that time without getting Senate confirmation. Now, of course, the idea of this is to be there for emergency situations. Let's say the House and the Senate are on their Christmas recess, so they're on their October recess, which lasts over a month, and then the defense secretary dies while we're at war. Well, then the idea was for a recess appointment to be there so that they can fill that position, and America doesn't have a position that's not being served out in the case of a situation like that. So, of course, I think President-elect Trump is trying to utilize this recess appointment as a way to help some of his members that may face a contentious confirmation process, especially if they're not able to get the necessary 50 to 51 senators they need to get that confirmation. And I think that these rumblings really started with Matt Gaetz. A lot of the early picks, whether it was Lee Zeldin for the EPA, Elise Stefanik for UN Secretary, or UN Ambassador, I should say, or even Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, not a lot of pushback on that. Certainly there were Democrats who don't like those people, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be facing a challenge of getting all 53 incoming senators from the GOP to vote for them. But then the Matt Gaetz pick came up and the Pete Hegseth pick came up. And next thing you know, you can't guarantee that every Republican is going to be united around these specific individuals.
Ryan, this is also Ryan. We are in St. Louis. You're in Washington. You got your ear to the ground. I keep hearing that RFK Jr. is maybe going to have a tough time getting through the confirmation process. That surprises me. Is that just talk, or are you hearing the same thing?
Yeah, there's a couple of things to point out there. So, number one, you got to look at the committee RFK Jr. has to go through. So he would go through the Help Committee. Help Committee is going to be chaired by Senator Bill Cassidy next year. And if they keep the current senators who are on the committee for the next Congress, then you're also going to have Lisa Murkowski and you're going to have Susan Collins on the committee. So that's 3 Republicans who supported convicting President-elect Trump during the second impeachment trial. So there is a question of even if Robert F. Kennedy could even get out of committee. And I think, too, there's going to be this question of, well, we do have to keep in mind that he has been a Democrat for pretty much the entirety of his life up until this year. So are past liberal statements that he made going to be a problem for Republicans when they start digging into his record more and looking at who he is? And of course, I think we don't truly know what his specific plans are for making America healthier. And could there be some ideas that he has that doesn't exactly fit with the Republican Party's agenda, which is less regulation, more free market, smaller government? Well, some of those ideas that he has might include more regulation, more government, and maybe that won't sit well with Republicans. So I think that, yes, his confirmation is still up in the air as of right now.
We're speaking with Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent Ryan Schmelz. Last question before we let you go, Ryan. That really brings me to this kind of conclusion of this. All of these appointments coming in. Some people love Marco Rubio and can't believe Matt Gaetz. Some people love Matt Gaetz and can't believe Marco Rubio would find themselves in these positions. How much weight does it's Donald Trump's mandate? The country. The majority of the country voted for him. If you kind of have a little bit of head scratching going on about any of these, if it's who Donald Trump wants, we have to trust Donald Trump with these appointments. How much of that sentiment exists when it gets into the halls of Congress?
It definitely does play into it. And you're seeing Speaker Johnson make that argument that this is the president's mandate. The American people elected us to put in the people that President-elect Trump feels are the best people for this job. But I've even heard people in MAGA world. I think one that stands out would be Max Miller, congressman from Ohio. He primaried one of the Republicans who voted to impeach Trump the second time around. He worked in the Trump administration. This is somebody who considers himself a Trump loyalist and a part of the MAGA movement, and he has serious issues with Matt Gaetz. So I think there are some members, even within the MAGA movement, who see this as an opportunity to say, no, maybe Matt Gaetz does not represent us, and it's our opportunity to get him away from that position. Now, of course, they're going to let it play out because they are members of the House, but I think there are those in the Senate who just really want to see what this ethics report has to say. They want to look into his background, and I think if there's any pick where a recess appointment would probably rub people the wrong way, it would probably be the Gaetz pick, just because there are so many question marks about his background that senators really feel they need to have answers with before they're comfortable enough to support him.
Yeah, a recess appointment for an attorney general in this situation is a little bit different than the example you gave earlier, which is the defense secretary dies when we're at war in October. It's just a little bit different of a purpose for the intended recess appointment. Ryan, there's going to be so much more to cover as these days go on. We hope you'll come back with us and continue these conversations because we love the inside look.
Absolutely. Anytime, Annie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. Go follow him on X at Ryan Schmelz Fox and tell him hi from the Annie Fry Show. He's great. When I was in Washington, D.C. with my son's 8th grade class trip, he found out, or I don't know, I think I tweeted or something that I was in D.C., or maybe a picture of like a monument or something, and he messaged me. He's like, "Are you in D.C.?" I was like, "I am," and he came and met me. And
that's cool.
He was wonderful and very, very well versed and knowledgeable.
Anytime I hear him on Big Fox, which I do regularly,
yeah,
I always think of that.
Yeah. He's a good guy, and I'm glad that he was able to give us some time today. All right, quick break. Wiggins America, what we missed over the weekend when we come back.
Monday Roundup.
All right, stick around. More Annie Fry Show right around the corner. The YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump cool? 2-Bit says if cool means someone that gets it, he is very cool. Thank you, 2-Bit, for the comment. Give us your thoughts, your vote on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, and keep it right here because Wiggins America is next.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Sivia Law, you find them online at civialaw.com, SIVIA. Did you know they're in Missouri and Illinois? They've got, I think, 5 different office locations that you can reach out to. So if you're looking to, find them in the state of Missouri, you can check them out there for sure in Wentzville. If you are looking in Illinois, Edwardsville, East Alton, Swansea, Mount Vernon even, they have a wide footprint here in the bi-state region to help you make sure that your wills, your powers of attorney, your trust that you need to set up and you've been putting off, stop doing that. Go take care of it. From the time you call them at 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, from the time that you call them and schedule that first sit-down strategy session, you are going to have 2 weeks to complete documents in hand, which means you can start that this week and you can have it done before Christmas. This is an incredibly important thing to have if you have dependents, if you have the want and need, and you do, to avoid probate should something happen. Sivia Law is going to guide you through all of it, answer all your questions, and even help you ask the questions you never would have thought of. It's where I went to get my estate plan completed, and I hope you'll do it too. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, civialaw.com.
In Missouri, farming isn't just a profession, it's a purpose. You can feel it in our 27 million acres of farmland. You can see it in the nearly 41,000 Missourians who work in agriculture. You can hear it at our farmers markets. You can count it in the $93.7 billion it brings our state. And you can taste it at your family's dinner table. A lot of farmers in our state rely on Bayer's tools and inventions because Bayer has a purpose too, to help farmers thrive. Learn more at go.bayer.com/purpose, paid for by Bayer.
Choosing the right candidates for any office can be difficult.
My office has lots of drama.
My office has its ups and downs.
I share my office. But no matter what kind of office you have, one thing's for certain. If you're hiring, you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds the most qualified candidates for your roles fast, and you can invite your top choices to apply. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So, for any kind of office.
I'm really going places in my office.
My office has everything you could ever want.
Count on ZipRecruiter to find the right candidates for it. Try ZipRecruiter for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
If you're looking for all the comforts of home plus some in a senior living community, check out Hampton Manor of Wentzville, just off the Lake St. Louis exit at Highway 70. They'll even treat you to lunch. Set up your appointment today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. WentzvilleAssistedLiving.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is very simple, although a variety of comments coming in about this one. Is Donald Trump cool? Yes or no? You can find this poll by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube, and today's date will come up. You click on that, you can see the live stream and the poll there. Go ahead and vote and leave a comment. 12:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
All this week, 97.1 wants to send you to Guns N' Hoses. Listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show, the Annie Fry Show, and the Mark Reardon Show for chances to win every day. All this week on 97.1. Keep it here.
Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Into the
Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Wiggins.
Monday Roundup. Yeehaw! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Let's get this one out of the way first. How many? Have you ever done yoga?
Yeah.
Not regularly, but you've done it.
I've done it at home for stretching purposes when I was pregnant.
Okay.
But I don't think it's like yoga.
It's not like you were in classes.
No, I was in pain and trying anything.
Okay.
So it's, whenever I was doing cardiac rehab, some of the cardiac rehab nurses were like, "Let's do yoga," and I was like, "Okay."
Is that how they talk?
Kinda.
It seems like there's a wide variety of ways you can do yoga, because some people just do it for the stretching. Some people make it into kind of like pseudo-religious. But apparently there's all these different, there's hot yoga.
Yeah,
which
I'd be more interested in that than anything.
Me too. That's the only one I would do. Hot yoga.
Everything you do is.
I just do regular
the
yoga,
hot
and
stuff.
people are like, that is hot yoga.
Hot yoga.
Candlelight yoga and goat yoga.
Candlelight yoga would be nice.
Apparently there's a new one, and this is what's
I don't
making the
need the
news
goats.
this weekend. It is snake yoga.
Barf.
Snake yoga
What?
is a spine-chilling yet fulfilling experience that takes place in a small private setting with a limit of 4 attendees in the downstairs non-heated part of this California studio, of course. Their ball pythons will be mindfully incorporated into a gentle 60-minute yoga class.
None of those words are in the same sentence correctly.
Well, if it's gentle. I mean, if you tell the snakes ahead of time, look, this is intended to be gentle. Don't squeeze anybody to death. Then I'm sure it'd be okay.
This is a total liberal thing to do.
Man, that came in hot today.
I like it.
Yeah. Hot yoga, hot Monday roundup. Next one, man, this one I love. When I saw this story making the rounds, I'm like, this is amazing. I love this story. So the Paul Skeens baseball card. This is a Topps trading card.
Oh, yeah.
You're familiar.
I know the story.
It's amazing. Topps has released one trading card of Pittsburgh Pirates rookie pitcher Paul Skeens. It is signed. Now, there's other cards of his, but there's one in particular that is supposed to be like the holy grail of baseball cards this year.
It's the first issued one, correct?
Yes. Yeah. But it's the only one. And he signed it, and it's in a pack somewhere in America like a golden ticket from Wonka. And if you get that card, you have a chance to the Pirates want this card. So it's not even a Pirates thing. The Pirates themselves, though, say we want that card so bad.
Do the Pirates want it, or does Skeens want it, or does his girlfriend want it?
It says that the PNC Park wants to display it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is the Pirates because
Beautiful baseball fields.
they are offering seats behind home plate at PNC Park for the next 30 years.
Yeah, it's a punishment.
And exclusive meet and greets with Skeens and 2 autographed Skeens jerseys and a chance to host a softball game at the ballpark with all your friends and
Now
a bunch
that is a reason to do it.
of Pirates alumni, which sounds kind of fun. But they're doing all of this for the one baseball card from Topps. So there are whole cottage industries popping up around this thing, making offers to whoever pulls that card because it's going to be so valuable. I mean, they're putting together all of the value of the seats behind home plate for 30 years and all this stuff. There's a local baseball card company that says we'll give you $250,000 if you pull it right away, and they're thinking that the bidding will go up for whoever wants to get this thing to sell it. Whoever buys it will then resell it to the pirates for all of this loot. I mean, that's a really neat story, and it's one that at some point in the next couple of weeks, most likely, somebody's going to actually pull that card, and we're going to revisit that story and find out what they're going to do with it, because that'll be fun to watch. All right, 73% of America's food supply is made up of ultra-processed foods, says one new study. Like chips, candy bars, and sodas, nobody thought it could actually be that high, but according to a study from Northeastern University's Network Science Institute, 73% of the U.S.'s food supply is ultra-processed.
This is my favorite thing about the Trump administration that I didn't see coming.
Me too.
Is the potential to make America healthy again. Because obviously there's something going on in this country that is not the case everywhere else.
Yeah. The one, I said this before the election, that if I were not involved in politics at all and I heard RFK Jr. come out and say, look, here's what I want to do to bread. There's this drying agent that's been out there since 1992 or whatever, and this video made the rounds. We want to get rid of that drying agent because it causes all kinds of problems. Well, I think that when I've talked about having a gluten allergy, it may be that thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know because I've never been tested for these things, but I know that when I eat a lot of bread or pizza, things with gluten in them, I associate with gluten, I get achy. And I'm hoping that if they're actually tying that stuff to this drying agent and they eliminate that, man, God save America if I can just eat bread again.
Real bread.
That's what I said before the election. If I wasn't involved in politics at all and somebody just told me, look, if you vote for Trump,
make bread great again,
you might be eating bread and pizza regularly again, I might have done it.
What'd you think about that photo that was circling X this weekend that had Trump, Don Jr., Elon, and RFK Jr. sitting around eating McDonald's?
And Mike Johnson.
No, he was in the back.
He was just standing in the back,
He didn't get invited to the table. And if you want to see a white guy do the whitest guy things in the world, watch Mike Johnson walk into the UFC fight behind Donald Trump.
He looks like...
He was like, yeah, this is the man up here. But he's too small, so you couldn't really see him. He reminded me I like Mike Johnson. I have no problem with Mike Johnson, but he reminded me of Seth Green.
Like the popular kids were coming into school in the big shot where there's fog and walking through.
He is the oldest in the group and had the car.
And he snuck in.
He was the
shot.
ride.
Somehow it was pretty funny.
And like I said, I love Mike Johnson.
Yeah.
I actually prefer him to be businessy and nerdy and straighten that tie upright. Like, I want the Speaker of the House to look out of place at a UFC fight. And the good news is that he did.
He did.
But it is so, I was going, oh. Because Trump has this little strut, and he's got this head nod, and Dana White's walking in like, these are my people. And he's happy to be there. And Kid Rock has got on the biggest fur coat you've ever seen. He's total rock star by definition. So he belongs there. And, Trump is in his glory. Elon Musk is doing weird Elon Musk things, which is what he's supposed to be doing.
Richest man in the world can get away with it.
And Mike Johnson's just like the Speaker of the House. He's still the Speaker of the House. Yeah. No, I take back the Seth Green thing. Rick Moranis.
That's much better.
Rick Moranis.
That's much better.
Rick
What's
Moranis
funny
in the crew.
Is that all weekend, if you were on the socials, you got peppered with those pictures because he must have just done a few events with Trump and the team, and every picture that had Mike Johnson in it, he was always like that.
Rick Moranis.
He was in the background like, oh, hey, me too.
Honey, I Shrunk the Budget. When you look at the McDonald's airplane picture, though, RFK Jr. does look like a hostage.
Yeah, he does.
He's
because
like holding
he's eating
the
McDonald's.
There's no bite out of it.
No.
I don't know that it was staged, but there's McDonald's everywhere. Don Jr. tweeted out, "Make America Healthy Again starts tomorrow." And RFK Jr. is holding he looks like he's holding this Big Mac like it was a roadkill.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what you want me to do with it. And then they're like, click picture. Okay.
And he looks like they surprised him with it, and he's going, oh no, this is going to come back to haunt me for sure. That he looks uncomfortable in that picture. Last one. So, of course, there's been some big boxing matches. I hesitate to report on the Jake Paul and Tyson thing because everybody's already talking about it. But there was a big UFC match. Of course, Trump was at that this weekend. Because of that, a story that circulated a little bit before is kind of making the rounds again. And I didn't see this last time through, so I'm reporting on it now. This was back in September. There was a big UFC match back then. Don't ask me to tell you who it was. But this...
I won't.
Thank you, because I wouldn't know the names anyway. I don't even know the names of the recent one. There's a trading app that has gone viral because they dressed a woman up as Nancy Pelosi and had her sit at this UFC match. Now, I think they may have paid extra for a little bit extra screen time or something like that. But she looked a lot like Nancy Pelosi. Well, the reason they did it is because this app is the Los Angeles-based Autopilot. The whole point of it is that it tracks the stock buying of U.S. Congress.
Yeah. What's the app?
It's called Autopilot.
Autopilot. Okay.
And you can track what they're doing and buy what they're buying, and it is causing a lot of waves to be made.
Well, you can set it up to auto buy.
Uh-huh.
It's set it and forget it.
A lot of people are suggesting that Nancy Pelosi is the biggest loser in this election. I don't know that she really has anything to stand on at this point. Where has she won?
You know, you could make an argument that it was Barack Obama, though, because he
got out. I mean, he's out. She's still in. Barack Obama can say, I did everything I can. Nancy Pelosi, she's filed to run again in San Francisco. She's 84 years old. She was born in 1940. She's been around the block.
Yeah.
Many, many times. And she's still in there fighting, and whatever she's fighting for, I don't think this is it.
She could return to power in 2 years, though.
Maybe she'll run for president.
Okay.
We're going to try to connect with Steve Moore, and Mark Cox is going to join us in the 1 o'clock hour to talk about his ATF raffle. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yep.
We haven't talked to him in a long time. So, Mark, on with us in the next hour. Don't go away.
Greg Hammonds at GregHammonds.com wants to remind you that if you pay for your own health insurance, open enrollment ends January 15th. If you are looking for coverage, do not go online looking for quotes. You'll get endless calls from call centers, and they will not stop. Instead, call Greg, an expert with over 40 years' experience, and he can provide sound advice for your health insurance needs. Their plans, if you qualify, let you pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower cost than Obamacare. The monthly premiums are independent of your income, so there will be no surprise tax bills. If you pay for your own health insurance, own a small business, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg at 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to GregHammonds.com. That's GregHammonds.com. They will custom design a plan managed by you, not the government.
CassinsCan.com, CassinsCan.com. That's the website. If you're looking to make a purchase, a vehicle purchase here in the month of November, I want you to make sure that Cassins is there to guide you through your entire purchasing process. They are trustworthy. And that's why I am a multi-time customer of Cassins. I want to make sure that you understand when you go shop at Cassins for your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Wagoneer, or a wonderful used vehicle, that you are going to be treated with the utmost respect. And while they are selling you this car, they are going to be working hard to earn your next business on the next vehicle purchase. They care about making those relationships, and they are very successful at it, which is why the majority of the sales staff at Cassins, like pretty much almost all of them, have been there for long, long periods of time. They have been very successful at what they do, and they're ready to give you that same service as well. In Glen Carbon, you can find them online at CassinsCan.com, or you can call them directly at 618-800-2712. 618-800-2712, CassinsCan.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Point!
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Ugh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace, you're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Plans to secure the border. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. That from the incoming border czar, Tom Homan, who says President-elect Trump has 3 rails on border security, beginning with mass deportations.
As far as the deportation operation, we will prioritize public safety threats and national security threats.
Homan, the former acting director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, suggests rolling back some current restrictions on ICE agents will be part of that effort.
Second thing is secure that border. Lock that border down and catch and release and secure the border. The third rail is we got over 300,000 missing children.
He says they're among more than 500,000 children who were trafficked into the U.S. and released to sponsors. He accuses the current administration of not properly vetting. Earlier, President-elect Trump appearing to confirm a social media post that his new administration is preparing to declare a national emergency and will use military assets for a deportation program. Testimony continues at the trial of a man who's in the U.S. illegally and is accused of killing a Georgia nursing student.
University of Georgia police officer Rafael Sayan testifying in court in Athens that he interviewed Venezuelan national Jose Ibarra about injuries to his head, hands, and arms prior to his arrest.
Well, I had asked him how did he receive those scratches, and he didn't give me a clear answer.
Ibarra, accused of multiple counts in the murder of Laken Riley in February. Ibarra faces life in prison if convicted.
Fox's Jeff Manasso, the defense argues insufficient evidence for conviction. Police in New York City just confirming a stabbing spree earlier today in Manhattan. 2 people killed, 1 in critical condition, and a suspect in custody. The first victim, a Hispanic man. The second, an Asian man, stabbed multiple times while he was fishing. But in the third incident, a black woman was stabbed several times. A cab driver witnessed it and called 911. A responding officer taking a suspect into custody who had blood on his clothes and was carrying 2 bloody kitchen knives. America is listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Unsettled skies through the afternoon on this Monday with periods of rain and some thunderstorms possible. It's windy and 68. Any wet weather gone by midnight at the latest, but it's windy and mild overnight, 58. Then on Tuesday, sunny, 64 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny skies, maybe a spot shower. Colder Wednesday and Thursday in the 40s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
The 37th Budweiser Guns N' Roses presented by Stiefel is Wednesday, the night before Thanksgiving at Enterprise Center. Enter the Odyssey raffle for one-of-a-kind Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson artwork. See it now at stlgunsandhoses.com.
At Lakeside Renovation and Design, our secret sauce isn't just the tools we use or the materials we choose. It's our people. We're not just builders. We're local craftsmen, highly skilled in our trades. Our team takes immense pride in transforming homeowners' visions into reality. We're not just in the business of remodeling. We're in the business of making homes more beautiful, comfortable, and valuable. What sets us apart? Integrity and honesty. Our craftsmen exceed expectations because we care. Lakeside, where every nail, every cut, every detail is a testament to our commitment to you.
You've got thoughts. Did you know you also have a microphone? Listen to 97.1 on the Odyssey app and click the microphone to leave a voice message. Whatever's on your mind, let us know by clicking the microphone in the Odyssey app.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thank you for being with us. In the first hour, we spoke with Ryan Schmelz from Capitol Hill to get a latest update on all of the maneuvering going on as Donald Trump continues to pick people and appoint people to his cabinet. That will reshape the way Congress looks, and it's incredibly important that we pay attention to that, so you can listen to that on the podcast. But I want to get to our next guest right away here. Steve Moore is with us once again, Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation, also an advisor to President Trump on economics. Welcome back to the show, Steve. Thanks for being here.
Hey, Annie, great to be with you. And just a quick update. The president did ask me if I would be the Treasury Secretary of the United States. And I said, well, Mr. President, I don't think I can do that because I do the Annie Fry Show every Monday, and I'm not willing to give that up. So just so you know, that's how important you are to me.
Oh, Steve, that is, I don't know. That's good for us. Is it good for the country, though? I mean, come on, Steve. You'd be great at that. What do you think so far of the appointments that Donald Trump has made to his cabinet and his commitment to make America great again?
Well, I'll tell you the ones that I'm really enthusiastic about. I think Doug Holscher, who's the new Interior Secretary, fantastic guy, awesome. We're going to start developing all our mineral resources or our natural resources in this country. How many times have we talked about this on your show? And we have not billions, trillions of dollars of resources. Yeah. We have minerals, we have uranium, we have oil, we have gas, we have coal, we have nuclear power. We've got everything, all the precious metals that you need for green energy and for, weapon systems, uranium you need for nuclear power. We've got that all in the United States. So why is it for the last 5 or 6 years we've been importing this stuff when we have it here in the United States? So we're going to do that. He's going to be fantastic. I think we should start selling off some of the Western lands that are non-environmentally sensitive and let, we think about how much money we could make selling it, pay off the national debt, and use that land for productive purposes. We know that the worst possible landowner in the world is the United States government. These are the people who allowed millions and millions of acres of important trees and forests to be burned down. What doesn't happen when you have private, custody of these lands. And then this new Chris Wright, who's going to run the Energy Department, fantastic guy. I love him, love him. I think Marco Rubio will be an excellent Secretary of State. So on balance, I'm very pleased. Of course, the two that I care the most about are Treasury Secretary. And by the way, folks, I was joking. Donald Trump
He's going to call you now.
The National Economic Commission. And, that's been, a delayed decision. I think, literally any hour or any day now we could have that decision. But the main thing is whoever gets those positions has to help us get that tax bill through. The one that Art Laffer and Larry Kudlow and I wrote 7 or 8 years ago. We passed it into law. It's been a huge success. But a lot of it goes away if we don't make it permanent in 2025.
We're speaking with Steve Moore right now here on the Annie Fry Show. I want to go back to something you brought up because I think it's a very key thing that not many people either know about or understand, which is the importance of government ownership of American land. Why does the government own so much land? What's the purpose of that?
Well, good question. And by the way, you're there in Missouri. You're east of the Mississippi, right, or west of the Mississippi?
Well, I can see the Mississippi, like Sarah Palin. I can see the Mississippi from my studio. I live in Illinois.
Right there on the Mississippi River. That's I wasn't sure which side of it you're on, but if you look at everything east of the Mississippi, that's almost all of that is privately owned. West of the Mississippi, half of that land is government owned.
Half?
Government owned, and so. You've got these massive amounts of lands, and nothing happens with it. As I said, all they allow to happen on those lands is for big forest fires to happen. Can you? By the way, if you're concerned about climate change, it's not something that keeps me up at night, but I have many smart friends who really worry about it. The worst possible thing, those forest fires have emitted more carbon in the atmosphere than all the cars on the road. So maybe if we stop forest fires, but the Forest Service can't do that. Do you think private owners are going to let their forests burn down?
No. I mean, I would assume that they'd have a vested interest.
Would you let their house burn down? I mean, come on. People are better custodians of the property when they own it themselves.
Energy, you talked about the energy secretary appointment, but I mean, we have for years now gone back to Joe Biden's day one initiative to shut down the Keystone Pipeline to battle against energy. How important is the drill baby drill mentality or whatever that all entails to getting us back into an economically stable place?
Well, that's huge. I mean, it's huge because, number one, you get those resources that we need. Number two, you get the money. So if the federal government starts leasing those lands, because a lot of those oil lands are on federal lands as well, if they're not sold, at least the federal government, don't you think they should lease the land to the drillers so they could go down there and get that oil? I mean, why does it make more sense to get oil from Russia than getting it from, North Dakota or South Dakota? I mean, it just doesn't even make any sense to me. So we're going to get after that. I think we're going to be able to produce 2 or 3 million more barrels a day. And if my math is correct, that's another, $150 billion, $1 million a day that the United States gets and that we don't send to our enemies. That's a big one. And then the other thing, by the way, when you ask me about the presidential appointments, the thing I'm probably most excited about, Annie, is the Elon Musk Presidential Government Efficiency Commission. We haven't had something like that in 35 years. And Reagan had one in 1984, so it's been 84. That's, my math is right. That's 40 years that we have not had
a
commission
born.
like this. I
That's
think
my whole
we can
life.
identify hundreds of billions of dollars of waste, hundreds of billions. I mean, we got programs that date back to the World War I. We don't even know what they do anymore. We give them money every year.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have talked many times about how Republicans have had no problem spending money when they've had the levers of power as well, that you have to have somebody who's politically brave enough to go out and say that our national debt, trillions and trillions, 30+ trillions of dollars, is a national security problem.
It is.
And it seems as though the Trump administration is going to be able to do something about that. Can I ask you about tariffs before we let you go? Because it's been a huge part of what Donald Trump has said leading up to the election. He obviously won. He's talked about tariffs not as much as a policy, but as an avenue to get good policy. Can you talk to us about the basic understanding of what a tariff is and how Donald Trump intends to use them?
Well, of course, a tariff is just a tax that's imposed on an import that comes in the United States. So if China wants to bring semiconductors in the United States, they ship them in or they fly them in on a plane. When they come in, you exact a tax. And by the way, that's nothing new about this. From the time the United States was born as a nation in the 1780s, we had tariffs, and that's how we funded the government. Now, I'm a free trade guy. I don't want excessive tariffs, but I think having a policy of maybe 10, 15% tariff on things that come in. And then here's the thing. If we do that, but then we say, okay, if you produce something in Missouri or Michigan or Ohio, we're going to give you a lower tax. I kind of like that idea.
Does that make Made in America more affordable?
I would think so.
Yeah.
And it would mean that less of – now, look, as I said, I think free trade is important, and I think it's important that we are able to bring in goods and services from the rest of the world. But I think we should just tilt the table a little bit, Annie, and this is what Trump thinks, tilt the table to things that are made with American workers.
Yes, and create jobs and balance the way that we consume our goods and get great quality products made here instead of shipped in by people who hate us. Steve Moore, thank you. We love having you. If you do get the call for Treasury Secretary, it is the Annie Fry Show patriotic duty.
If he asks me to do a job, I say, well, I'm not giving up doing the Annie Fry Show. Okay?
Yeah, we will sacrifice, but we love having you here, and we're thankful for your time again today. Bye-bye. Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation, also a Donald Trump economic advisor. Probably not legitimately asked to be the Treasury Secretary, but if he were, we would be happy to make that sacrifice here. It's really cool that we get to speak with him and have for so long. He's a Chicago guy, and he I don't know when the last time he was in Chicago was, but he cares about Illinois. And I don't think that we're gonna get into this a little bit this week, but going back to an X's and O's question with you, Ryan Wiggins, from last week, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Chicago, New York City. I remember those 4 cities now.
Yeah.
When it's useless to me.
You got it.
Because I messed it up on X's and O's. The shift to red in the electorate from this past election in these super, super blue areas, I think is pretty compelling. I think that there's something that needs to be paid attention to here. And economically is got to be the number one reason why. Economics and safety. 2 really compelling reasons for people in a change election, which this is, in the state of Illinois, where we are going to be ramping up seeing people start saying, I'm going to run for governor, I'm going to run for governor, I'm going to run for governor. Economics, safety, potential victory.
That's what I'm hearing candidates run on across the board. I mean, that's economics and safety. Immigration is another big one, but immigration affects economics and safety.
Yeah, if immigration weren't causing the issues in those other 2 places, I don't think people would care as much.
Right. And so when you see people who are typically reliably blue voters out there complaining, stirring up trouble, not just saying, I don't like this, but stirring up trouble because they're so mad about it, you know that there's something there. And in Illinois, I'm not saying that we're the next to flip. I mean, there are people saying, well, Republicans should be focused on New Jersey and Virginia more. Great. But we have a chance to run on real issues. And even if there's no big victories, those issues have to be made front and center regardless.
Here's what folks are saying in Chicago directly to Brandon Johnson. Brandon Johnson just tried to push a $300 million, was it a property tax hike or something?
Yeah.
Well, property taxes in Chicago are low, so.
They can afford it.
They can afford it.
People are staying because they love the low taxes.
This is what constituents in Brandon Johnson's jurisdiction have to say to him.
Good afternoon.
I want to know, how does it feel that Trump is in office right now? You see that? Mayor Brandon Johnson, you underestimate us. You underestimate the black people, and you underestimate Chicago Red. We're the thorn in your side, and we're going to be the thorn on everybody else in this council member side, too. If you don't stop what you're doing, we're going to take matters in our own hand, and we're going to stop it. You know that Trump had pulled 45% of the voter in the state of Illinois, 37 in the city of Chicago. That's the statistic. That means that Illinois is turning purple. We're going to turn red.
Y'all can bird dog me all y'all want, but if it's relationship over duty, then y'all don't serve the blue. And you can smirk all you want.
Mr. Sims, direct your attention towards me, please.
You're a criminal. Why do I got to address you? The feds need to address you. DOJ need to address you, and hopefully Donald Trump will address you. Because you're going to protect the undocumented. Why you going to allow for the citizens in Chicago to suffer under your, 33%? See, Joe Lopez cooked that 3% up a long time ago. Y'all called it a circuit breaker. Y'all been talked about it. Remember, before you came in here and gave that jovial speech, you need to be inspected. You and that creep over there.
Acting like, you just going to bully everybody. You got people, officers whose families don't even want you to come to the funeral. You just like a schoolyard bully. That at some point, and you might not know nothing about it because you grew up in Elgin, but those of us who grew up on the south side and west side of Chicago, we all know at some point that bully gets cornered in the alley and everybody come at him. And he ain't gonna have nobody to help him. That's you. That's you. Keep thinking you ain't gonna abide by what the President of the United States said. Everybody know better than that. I see you, Anna Valencia, in your red. You know what it is. This is the second time you showed up in City Council in red. You know what it is? Yeah. Yeah.
Does it matter that she's wearing red?
It does. She's wearing a lot of red, too.
These people are mad. They're going deep into some stuff here. Shots fired at Elgin. Elgin's just sitting there going, hey.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
We weren't involved in this.
Hey.
What did I ever do to you?
Yeah.
They're directing this at Pritzker or at Brandon Johnson, but it's Pritzker that is out there saying a lot of the same stuff. He's saying it statewide, though. Brandon Johnson's saying it for Chicago. We are here to fight against what you just voted for.
It's their purpose now.
Yeah.
They feel like they have a clear mandate. What do the lefties keep saying? We're clear-eyed.
14% rating is what you appear to have, Brandon Johnson, across the United States, or how they see you. But 14% rating. Now, I'm going to talk about all those known donations of $11.5 million that came from places like the CTU, the SEIU, the American Federation of Teachers, Illinois Federation of Teachers, and then someone got the nerve to get on there and talk about cutting the pensions. What about our real estate? Because, see, we paid for these properties for a purpose and not for you to go touching it with $300 million that you want to siphon out of the citizens' pockets. Get rid of the illegals, and that'll take your money right back.
There's an awakening happening in America.
Listen, there's a part of me that gets nervous when she says illegals, but that's what it is.
Yes.
That's what it is. And if you want to refer to the illegal immigrants that you've invited and coddled into the state of Illinois that are siphoning off Illinois taxpayer dollars to provide for them whatever it is that is going to attract more of them, and then Governor J.B. Pritzker, you go on to a news conference with your fists up like you're going to win some sort of fight saying that those are your people. No, J.B. Pritzker, I'm your people. I fund this stupid government that you're running here in the state of Illinois, and people listening right now are your people, and you don't give a rat's patoot about those people whose money you feel that you have the ability to take. Meanwhile, you're Scrooge McDuck and your gold doubloons. Fix the problem yourself if you believe so much in it. Stop running the state of Illinois into the ground. Become a philanthropist. Create some sort of entity where you can house and feed these illegal immigrants on your own dime because you are the one who can afford it. I can't afford it. I'm trying to house and feed 4 children that I am independently with my husband trying to take care of without trying to take any more assistance from anybody else who might need it, who is in the state of Illinois and a legal resident of this country. J.B. Pritzker, You got the wrong people, and you are the wrong person for the job. And Illinois has the opportunity, when you listen to these people at this city council meeting with their frustrations boiling over at Mayor Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, you're next. You are right there in that same capacity that people have frustration that you don't get it. Or even worse, you do get it and you know you can get away with it. I am begging the state of Illinois to put forth a candidate for governor in the 2026 cycle who will prioritize the economy and the safety and security of the citizens of Illinois. I am as pro-life as it gets, but you are not going to win the governorship of Illinois by making that your lead issue. You are not going to win the governorship of Illinois as a Republican on what has now been culturally deemed social issues. Economy, safety, done. That doesn't mean that you are pro-choice. It just means that you're not going to win that election if you prioritize those things and demean people who disagree with you. A pro-choice or a pro-life governor who does not make that their main issue in the next election will protect babies more if they win than this lunatic J.B. Pritzker and a supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly will ever do. There is not a baby in utero that they won't willfully kill in the name of women's rights, which is really just a lobbyist group that continues to funnel money into their system of complete control. I saw a meme a TikTok video yesterday, and it was on X because I'm not on TikTok, and it was a female talking, and she said, if your uterus has more kills than my AR-15, then maybe we have the wrong target.
Wow.
So yeah, that should be the mantra and the understanding moving forward. If you want to fix abortion, you've got to go after the culture first. You've got to provide solutions for women who can choose life. Remind them that they can choose life. But when it comes to the government, it has to be economical. It has to be for safety and security. And we have to get people to understand that the Republicans can handle these things without constantly pushing in the face of everybody else what they need to do socially, because the work needs to be done right now, today, not in 2026, but on Monday, November 18th, 2024, to change the culture, to make sure that people understand that life does exist in the womb. And it is valuable. It is priceless. It is worthy of protection. Do not sit on your hands and wait for the right man or woman to get elected into office to confirm that that is the actual truth. Let's take a quick break. Marc Cox is going to be with us. He is having an ATF raffle. Do you know a lot about this? He's done this before. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's an annual event.
Yes, he's going to tell us about it and how you can participate. We love Marc on this show. Marc likes to text Ryan Wiggins from time to time during the show.
During the show is great. I love
He's usually, I think, agreeing with you over me when he
does.
does.
I think he also sometimes
or
thinks
you're
of
just
something,
making it up.
Well, maybe that's also true, but you can ask him that next if you want to.
Marc Cox on the Annie Fry Show coming up next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Michael's Flooring Outlet is online at igotfloored.com. They're also in Missouri at 3 locations. You can check them out, not in Wentzville, West County and Olive Boulevard, 1 mile off 270 west on Olive in West County. Darien Prairie and St. Charles County, there in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. If you are interested in purchasing flooring and you want to support the people who support us here on 97.1, you can go to Michael's Flooring Outlet and start that process. You can do it online at igotfloored.com. You can even request an estimate there. And I think what a lot of people have found very helpful, and Michael's is very proud of them, their Google reviews, they're listed right there on the website. So you can check out what other people are saying about working with this family-owned and operated business at Michael's Flooring Outlet to buy your next Mohawk Smart Strand carpet or Techwood Plus line of hardwood flooring. You are in good hands, people you can trust who understand for decades in St. Louis how to make a great sale on flooring that you're going to be proud of. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
Hey contractors, it's Andrea and Scott at Best Buy Flooring.
If you haven't been shopping with us, you owe it to your customers and yourself to check out Best Buy Flooring.
We can meet all flooring needs at the lowest prices in town. Check out our huge selection of carpet tiles, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tiles, sheet vinyl, ceramic, hardwood, and laminate.
Come see us at our 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Open 7 days a week, including at South County. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated. Is yours? Did you know that there's an R value associated with insulation? To find out your R value or for a free insulation estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Monday afternoon, the very latest on the Trump cabinet picks, and Congressman-elect Bob Onder joins us.
Weekdays from 3 to 6. The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Mr. Worldwide to infinity. You know the roof on fire. We go boogie, oogie, oogie, jiggle, wiggle, and dance like the roof on fire. We go drink drinks and take shots until we fall out like the roof on fire. Now, baby, get my booty naked, take off all your clothes and light the roof on fire. Tell 'em, baby.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I'm on fire.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us this afternoon. Very excited to bring our next guest on, Marc Cox of the Marc Cox Morning Show. Everybody here knows Marc. Marc, thanks for being with us today. Good to have you.
Thank you, Annie. It's a great day in America. Thanks for having me on.
Do you just do you frolic through the day now, Marc? How do you feel post-election?
I've just kind of been walking on air. I am to the point where I'm trying not to gloat, but I'm still having a great day. Let's just put it that way.
Are you gloating? Are you a gloater?
I have gloated occasionally since election evening. I'll have to say, after I caught up on my sleep, I was so pumped that night. I was working on about 2.5 hours of sleep when I came to work the next day.
Yeah,
and it didn't hit me till about 7 or 8 o'clock the next afternoon. It was that great.
If we were like the fringe side of the liberal movement, we would have to have like special rooms where we could all go in and just privately gloat together to get it out of our, like a gloat fest, and then we could re-enter into civilization just to get it off your chest. But
sort of a safe space, right?
Yeah, safe space for Trump victories.
For gloating.
You have this really cool thing taking place right now, the First Responder Thanksgiving ATF raffle. Tell me what this is and what our listeners can do to A, support what you're doing, and B, win some pretty sweet stuff.
Yeah, your listeners helped me out a lot last year, as I remember, as we got near the end of this. So for a number of years now, in November, we've been supporting a charity called Responder Rescue. They are there when first responders get injured in the line of duty. Backstoppers helps when somebody's killed in the line of duty. Responder Rescue steps in if somebody's injured and, let's say, they can't pay a heating or cooling bill or a medical bill or something like that. They step in and they write a check. And I'm trying to do all I can for them. Again, this year we're having they're sponsoring this raffle. We call it the ATF raffle: alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. So those are the 3 prizes: a basket of bourbon that I put together, courtesy of a lot of people. Lore, my friends at Lore Wine and Spirits donated a bunch. Various friends, Stolock Whiskey. For people who are bourbon fans, they'll recognize a few names. There's Weller Antique 107. There's a Midwinter's Night Dram in there. There's a Blanton's Gold. It's about $1,500 worth of bourbon. The numbers keep growing. People keep donating bottles. So it's that plus a Robert Thomas Blues jersey, a signed jersey by Robert Thomas.
Nice.
So that's the basket of booze. And then separately, there's a gun that's been donated by the Range St. Louis West. It's a 9mm CMMG rifle that's worth about $2,100 that they've donated out of the goodness of their hearts because they help me out all the time up there. And then finally, I've got a good friend, Brian Schneider, who runs a cigar lounge in Chesterfield. It's called Lit Cigar Lounge, and he's donated a night in their private room down there with cigars and a bottle of bourbon and a very nice box of hard-to-get cigars as well, and that's valued at about $1,000. So there'll be 3 winners. People will have a chance to win one of those 3 prizes, and we'll pick a winner on Wednesday, the 27th, right before Thanksgiving.
Mark, I've seen some of these bottles of bourbon in the office that you and I share. Are you saying that I should leave those alone?
He's halfway through one right now.
I wondered. Yeah, I know. I wondered how those got cracked open. Now I know, Ryan.
I was going to ask you what the retail value was because I wanted to see how much money I've drank.
You mean that you owe him?
Well, that Midwinter's Night Dram that you broke into, that's probably about a $250 bottle, something like that.
That is
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So if somebody buys a raffle ticket right now, you're saying people continue to donate, and so what you have listed may not even be the fullness of the prize that they would win.
Right. I mean, we had to stop at some point with the descriptions, but I do keep getting bottles added all the time, and I need to probably update my list a little bit. I'm trying to do it on the air every day, but it's pretty simple. I mean, the tickets are only $1 a piece, but the minimum purchase is $10. We do it through an online organization called Rally Up. So all the money goes to the charity. You can do it right on your phone. You can text the word responder to 33100. It's pretty easy, and it sends you a text, and once you click on it, it takes you right to the page. Or you can just go to our website at 971talk.com, and there's a link on there as well. And for people that go to the Range, you can buy them in the store there at the Range St. Louis West.
Mark, what does the value do of that bottle that Ryan Wiggins was drinking from his lips straight out of the bottle? Does that increase the value, or what?
I left lipstick on it. What does that do?
I think that would definitely increase the bottle. If I could get Wiggins to sign it, that would make it worth even more money, right?
Okay, yeah, I'll sign it in lipstick.
Mark, I want to encourage people to go and follow this as it continues to update. Are you updating it specifically on any of your social media accounts where people can follow you? I know the Mark Cox Morning Show Facebook page is very active. You're on Twitter as well. X, excuse me.
Yes, so we're putting it. I put a link up there on Facebook. I probably need to refresh that because it's been a week, but I don't want people to have to dig too far in to find it. I'll probably need to pin it to the top of the page, but it's really easy on the website, on our website as well, 971talk.com. The First Responder Thanksgiving is one of the first things you see up there on the web page, and really the text option has been a game changer. It's just so easy to text responder to 33100, and every dime, like the money goes straight into their account. Basically, every dime goes straight to Responder Rescue. And like just as an example, I had a guest on, I think it was a year and a half ago. It was a police officer. She had a bad case of like temporomandibular joint disorder, like where her jaw just, it was TMJ. Like TMJ. It was so debilitating. She had to quit her job, and her insurance company there was a huge portion of the surgery they wouldn't cover, and Responder Rescue stepped in and paid for that.
Ugh.
So that it's given her life back.
Yeah.
And these are examples of the kind of things they do on a regular basis.
We're speaking with Marc Cox, the Marc Cox Morning Show. You can hear him weekdays from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on 97.1. When you were preparing for this election to happen, didn't know what was going to take place, we on this show here would look at everything that was presented to us and be like, there's no way that Trump should lose this. But you just couldn't, or at least we couldn't, trust what we were assessing enough compared to our concern about the ability for common sense to prevail. What were you thinking? How are you going to do 4 more years of covering Kamala Harris if she would have won?
Well, Annie, I think the one thing about what we do is that it should be more clear than anything to everyone that you don't despise people in the mainstream media enough after the way this went down. Because right up until Election Day, a lot of media in this country would lead you to believe this thing was so close it could go either way.
Yeah.
And there is no way that they didn't know. They weren't seeing some of the same internal polling that the campaigns were. The Kamala Harris people certainly knew it but weren't going to talk about it. The Trump people were well aware that they were winning in all of these states. And virtually no one was being honest about it. And I think that's the value add that we bring to everyone, is that we were talking about those very issues and these polls that were outliers and about these demographic changes. I heard Ryan on there one day talking about the polls among Hispanics and African Americans, and all these things were trending toward Donald Trump in ways that the left was just in denial about.
Don't quote
And if
Ryan
you weren't hearing it
Wiggins
from
on
us,
this
you weren't
show
hearing it.
and give Ryan Wiggins credit for talking about
He's
polls.
He's the poll master.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what he was doing before he came here.
Mark, when you come in tomorrow morning, you're going to have a nice, fresh signature right across your monitor.
In lipstick.
Yeah,
Thank you.
in lipstick.
Last question.
And it'll be
before-
sloppy because I'll be drunk.
You are correct on that. The polls, and Ryan was always the leader on bringing those to the forefront so that we could read them. But it was just difficult to believe because of like what you were saying with the media and how they covered it. I wanted to ask you one question before we let you go about Trump's cabinet picks. Who's the best pick and who's the worst pick so far from Donald Trump?
Well, I got to be honest. If he hadn't made the selections he did, I would have been disappointed. He is a change candidate. I mean, the mandate was, yes, we like what you're saying. Let's see some of this change. And I think Trump committed himself to that. So, number one, I think his best pick so far has probably been RFK Jr. for HHS. I mean, the guy, this morning I ran a bite with him talking about the dangers of 5G and the phone that's up against the side of my head right now. And I've never really heard much of a study. He said there are dozens of studies out there that show that that's a problem. Somebody hasn't been honest with us. Is it because they're owned by the industry that they represent? I don't know. It's just very strange. I think that's a great pick. I love Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. I think that's fantastic. Tom Homan,
yes,
to run to be the border czar. I mean, that guy's a bulldog. I've had him on. I met him in Washington a couple years ago, and he walks like he's going into a strong wind, and you know he's going to approach that job the same way.
That's a great way to explain it. It is. He's 100% true. Whenever you see him, it's always Tom Homan. There's no posing in that regard. Are you a fan of Matt? Let me ask you this question: will Matt Gaetz become the Attorney General?
I'm not sure that he will. I would certainly support him in that role because I've watched enough of those congressional hearings. They can slam that man up one side and down the other over what happened to Kevin McCarthy. But there's probably not anyone in Washington that's more bold than Matt Gaetz. And you have to have a change agent. You can't put somebody in there who's part of the establishment. If you do, nothing's going to happen. He would certainly shake things up. I just don't know that he makes it through a Senate confirmation.
Yeah, it's a weird appointment to me, but if he gets through, boy, buckle up because it's gonna be wild to cover for sure.
I would agree with that. Yeah, Ryan Priebus said that this weekend on I think the ABC show with Stephanopoulos or someone, but he was pointing that out. He goes, "I talked to Donald Trump. This isn't a sleight of hand." He wants Matt Gaetz for that job because he wants to change things at the top of the Department of Justice, and he knows that Gaetz would get the job done.
Yeah. Well, one more time before we let you go. We'll be tuning in the mornings to listen to you, Mark, on the Mark Cox Morning Show. There's just so much news every single day, and it's fun because this is good news. But like in large part, it's really fun to be going to work today. Give us the lowdown one more time on where people can come support the First Responder Thanksgiving ATF raffle, how they can support First Responder Rescue, and also participate in this awesome opportunity to win some prizes from your raffle.
Yeah, thank you. Just the easiest way is to use your phone and text the word responder to 33100. They'll send you a link, and you can buy your tickets right online. And they're only $1 a piece, but there's a $10 minimum purchase. If you buy 50, you get 55. So the more you buy, the more tickets you get. And we'll pick a winner on the 27th. If you're at the Range St. Louis West for some reason, you can buy tickets right in person, or you can go to our website at 971talk.com.
Text responder to 33100, and I'll just go out on a limb and say buy 1,200 tickets for $1,000 and just take care of it right there.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's how it works. That's right.
Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Annie.
Always appreciate you. Bye-bye. Mark Cox, the Mark Cox Morning Show. A little Annie Fry Show trivia. When I was first asked if I would be interested in trying the on-air thing, it was the program director who asked Mark Cox if he would care if a 32-year-old, I was a coworker. I worked at the station, but I was always in the background. Could Annie sit in with you on Sunday nights? And Mark was just genuinely kind, was like, sure, no problem. Ryan, as you know, having been in the industries for quite some time, it's more rare to be like, sure, she can come into my show.
People usually don't want to share a spotlight. And so when you find people who are willing to, you know that they are. What's neat about Mark is that he is in it for the cause.
Completely.
And you know that is a fact with the minute you meet him.
Sharing the spotlight or sharing an office. How does he feel about that one?
I don't know about the office.
I saw him talking to Steve about his contract, and your name was mentioned, but I don't know.
Here's
what
the thing, and I
about.
kind of alluded to this. I steal a lot. And, they have a word for that. It's kleptomania, and I suffer from that.
You're like, it's okay. It's a condition.
It's a condition, and I've identified it, and I'm going to be seeking out all of Odyssey's mental health awareness programs.
What, you can take them?
No, I'm just going to look at them and see what they are while I sort of put stuff in my pockets.
Steal the pens.
Yeah.
The free pens and keychains.
Uh-huh.
I'm here for the free stuff.
But just as we said about Mark, he's a genuine guy. This is who I am.
You're genuinely a klepto. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan are a phone call or even a text message away. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. The Bagel Loan, it's only available with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage. The Bagel Loan means no closing costs. So you go to get your mortgage. At the end, they're like, okay, here's your closing cost amount, and then it's this big chunk of change. Nope, not with Stewie. Not with the Bagel Loan. Friends and family alike of mine have asked me on the side, like, Annie, what's really the situation with the Bagel Loan? And there's no secret. Actually, I'm trying really hard to make it not a secret that the Bagel Loan is out there. You're going to get your mortgage. You're going to refinance your mortgage. And when it comes time to close, you don't have to pay those closing costs. They're not there. They're not rolled into the loan. That is why so many people have gone, okay, fine, Annie, I'll try it, and been very grateful for it. I hear from you listeners all the time that you worked with Stewie, and it was great, and you are looking forward to those monthly payments, which are less. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you're planning to sell and also buy a home in the near future, I know what you're going through. Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty knows selling and buying your next home at the same time can be tricky, especially in our area. Hey, Mark Cox here. If you need to sell and buy at the same time, this is for you. Gloria Lou has several great options for her home sellers, including her Sell and Stay program. That gets you the most money possible for your current home and allows you to stay put until you find your next home. No more stress, worries, or hassles. Gloria Lou makes selling your St. Louis area home easy, and she's been doing this for more than 21 years. Why risk working with an average realtor when you can work with the best? The name to remember is Gloria Lou of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. 314-325-6888 or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet, first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Today we're asking you, is Donald Trump cool? Yes or no? It's the YouTube live chat poll, and you can vote in it by going to YouTube and typing
Was that
in
your
Andy Fry.
cool guy voice?
No, I think it was my radio voice. You put in pauses.
So not your cool guy voice.
No.
Okay.
Just doing my professional media voice. Is Donald Trump cool? Yes or no? 150 this time check is sponsored by...
Wait.
You have one
You
job.
gotta tease something.
Oh, no, I did.
He got so wrapped up in trying to be cool.
Cool guy.
I wasn't trying to be cool. I was just doing media voice.
Just tease the thing.
Guns and Hoses.
This is a transition like none other.
The night before Thanksgiving is Guns and Hoses. Has been going on for, I think this is the 37th year. If you've never been, especially, or if you're going to go anyway, we're going to give away some free tickets in the 2 o'clock hour. So stick around if you want to win free tickets to Guns and Hoses. There. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Stick around. 150. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
We love Guns N' Hoses, and that's why we're going to be the first station to ever broadcast Guns N' Hoses the day before Thanksgiving. Mark Cox here. It's November 27th at the Enterprise Center. Tickets and info are at 971talk.com.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Some puppy stuff going on the live stream right now.
And that is what it sounds like. It's not like we're not calling something puppy stuff. It's real puppies doing stuff.
So I'm adopting a puppy. We get to take her home in a week from tomorrow, and it's possible that Ryan might be adopting one too. What is the likelihood of this?
It all depends on my son's allergies. So we're gonna have to bring him over.
This is just a really, really big ruse to snuggle my puppy.
That's true. I mean, I'll be there. I'll be snuggling that puppy too, just to make sure I'm not allergic.
Just to be sure.
But he has had dog allergies his whole life. And we didn't know that when he was born because we had a dog when we had our twins. And when he was born, he did this thing. We didn't know what to call it. We called it elephanting because he would go as a baby. And we thought, maybe looking back that he was having an allergic reaction to the dog. Although he also had it to formula. So we weren't ever really sure. He had to have like the special formula. So we've tried to adopt a dog in the past. A couple years ago, we went to a farm in central Illinois and just played with the puppies there and the dogs. And immediately we got in the car, hives.
Oh.
And so we thought,
so it's not like, I get sniffly. It's
real and it's instant. So we also, though, think that it's a possibility that, and those were hypoallergenic dogs. That's why we were so disappointed.
But they were
The
outside?
poodle mix, but they're outside. And they stayed in outside kennels. So we thought maybe it's because they're outside because he's been around inside dogs and not had the problems. So we're, this is our final test is with your new puppy.
Joe says, and you still feed the kid dog treats?
That wasn't that kid, Joe. That's rude.
Yeah, Joe, what kind of father do you think he is? He fed his other kid the dog treats.
That's super rude. And plus, it's the dander.
Also very funny.
Has nothing to do with venison.
Don't act
jerky.
like
I'm better than this.
you're hurt because it was a good joke.
I am hurt. Like I would do that to my son with dog allergy. I wouldn't feed him dog treats.
It was gluten-free.
I don't remember.
Well, you
Meat
read
usually is.
everything on the package except for where it said Wild Bone Company and had dog stuff all over it.
I did read
And on
where
the
it
back
said
of the
Wild
top-
Bone Company. I thought it still sounded like a human treat.
By the way, you say in the video short of, if you haven't seen the video of Ryan talking about when he bought some discounted jerky from Deerberg's.
Yeah.
And ate it.
In the
Said it
food
tasted
section.
terrible. Well, it's dog treats.
in the people food section.
In that video, Ethan and Brad are giving you crap because it says Wild Bone Company on the top with like dogs, which is not direct enough for you.
Mm-mm.
And you are going on and on about how all animals have bones. And somebody's comments like, wait till he hears about invertebrates. I love the comments on the YouTube shorts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Do people talk to you about
seems
that
like
ever?
everybody had a really good time. Glad you guys had a good time.
It's all on your wife.
I know.
It's all on Mrs. Wiggins.
I know.
I get a text message, Halloween trick-or-treating night, which for us is the night before Halloween, and out of the blue. And I mentioned this to you that day. The last time your wife had texted me was March. And she says, hey, did Ryan tell you about the time he ate beef jerky and didn't realize it was dog treats and fed it to our kids? And then it ended up by saying, you should make fun of him on the air if you haven't yet. That's what his wife said to me. I never would have brought it up if I had to do the right thing by your wife.
It's not cool that she did that because I had brought in the jerky. I had intended to bring it in.
You didn't get to do it on
my
your
terms.
Yeah, you didn't get to do it on your terms.
That's good radio, but I had to present
She
it
saved
correctly.
me, dude.
Did you go home and talk to her about that?
Yes, I talked to her about that.
Did she think it was funny?
You know what? No, we had about 2 days where we wouldn't talk.
That's not true.
And then finally,
That's not true.
I will say I really appreciate, though, the people who got onto the comments that day, whether it be in the YouTube Live or on the short, and said, yeah, I've done that.
There were those people.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There are other people who said I'd still try it.
That's true,
like,
too.
Even like after the knowledge that these were treats for dogs, they're like, it's still venison. Why wouldn't you eat it?
And to me, that's
Yeah.
a bridge too far.
You spit it out because you said it was gross.
It was kind of dry.
If it would have tasted good,
I wouldn't have even known. I would not have known.
and we would have
I
missed
would have
out
gotten
on this.
halfway through that bag, me and my son. Not the allergic son,
My son and me.
the other one.
Me?
My son and Ryan.
Guns and Hoses ticket giveaway in the 2 o'clock hour?
Yep, coming up.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Have you ever been told you can't get into the water for 30 minutes after eating because you can cramp up and drown? And then you were told if you eat watermelon seeds, you're going to grow a watermelon in your stomach. Swallowing gum it'll stay in your stomach for 7 years. Don't sit too close to the TV or you'll go blind. Wow, these aren't your peers saying this is your, people you're counting on that you believe and you trust. Or the air conditioning that we have now isn't good enough for you, so you need to do this. I don't know, guys. If you have questions, you have doubts, and you want common sense approach to, heating and cooling your home affordably, call me, Bart Inman, one real easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
New finger-pointing over the conflict in Ukraine. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Russia accusing the U.S. of escalation as President Biden signs off on Ukraine using long-range U.S. weapons deep into Russian territory. State Department spokesman Matthew Miller.
It has been Russia that has escalated the conflict time and time again. And that includes just in the recent month when Russia recruited the deployment of more than 11,000 North Korean soldiers who are now on the front lines in Kursk.
A senior U.S. official telling Fox News that's what spurred President Biden's decision, though it's not clear whether he plans to authorize those long-range weapons beyond the Kursk region. President Biden attending the G20 summit in Brazil. He says the U.S. strongly supports Ukraine's territorial integrity. He also says Russia's invasion of Ukraine led to the highest recorded food prices in history. President Biden asking Congress for nearly $100 billion in emergency aid after disasters, including Hurricanes Helene and Milton. House Speaker Mike Johnson says Congress will evaluate the request. A first-in-the-nation congestion pricing plan wins approval after a hearing in New York City.
Much of the public supported it.
Our transit infrastructure is at a breaking point. Congestion pricing is how we fix it.
But there were still skeptics
who worry that the funds will just go into a black box.
But New York's Metropolitan Transportation Authority approved a $9 charge for cars to get into parts of Manhattan. Governor Kathy Hochul lifted a pause and lowered the price from $15 last week. MTA CEO Jano Lieber says buses and subways will benefit.
The transit system is the lifeblood of New York, but I also think it's the pride of New York. Even when it's imperfect.
Funds raised will go to fix those imperfections and be a model that other U.S. cities may consider exploring.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The new tolls set to take effect in January, but could still face legal challenges. America's listening to Fox News.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Unsettled skies through the afternoon on this Monday with periods of rain and some thunderstorms possible. It's windy and 68. Any wet weather gone by midnight at the latest, but it's windy and mild overnight, 58. Then on Tuesday, sunny, 64 degrees. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny skies, maybe a spot shower. Colder Wednesday and Thursday in the 40s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group, they're there to guide you through that transitionary period in retirement where you're leaving the workforce and you need to make some moves with all that money you've been saving. When you call 314-993-9494, 314-993-9494 to say, hey, we would like to retire in 1 year, in 5 years. We'd like to retire now if we could. Can we? These are questions that you can ask Bob and Tammy Kershaw and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group. You can get a timeline that you know is based in real factual information, not just hopes and dreams. You've worked hard for your retirement, and you want to make sure it's protected, that it's safe. And the Retirement Advisory Group loves to boast at the fact that they've never had a client lose a penny. Interested in being one of those clients? Well, it starts with a free sit-down conversation, one that doesn't involve any obligation whatsoever. You sit down, you talk, you listen to what they have to say, and then you're free to go and never reach out to them again. Or you can set up an appointment after that to get everything going. 314-993-9494. Call the folks at the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Happy Thanksgiving from Grill Master Tony. Mark Cox here. You know, Tony says brisket is the new turkey. You can get Thanksgiving for 10 people or more, starting at just $21 per person. Get sliced brisket, about a half pound per person, roasted potatoes, country green beans, bourbon barbecue baked beans, French bread from Pete's Italian Baking Company on the Hill, all delivered to your house. You can order right now. Get your orders in early. It's grillmastertony.com.
When you're trying to find quality candidates, all the searching, screening, and interviewing can become a job itself. You need Indeed, the all-in-one platform that makes it easy to interview, screen, and hire quality people. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The Trump presidency is coming into focus. The updates are happening fast. 97.1 FM Talk. The vision and strategy for 2025 is here.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Happy Monday. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Did you guys watch the Tyson Paul fight?
I had trouble watching it.
Did you try?
Not hard. It was something that I was kind of like, maybe I'll tune in.
Do you have Netflix?
Yeah, I have Netflix. So it was, no, I didn't watch it, to answer your question.
Did you?
I don't have Netflix, so no, I couldn't get on.
I tried to watch it, and I only really tuned in because everybody was on Twitter saying that they couldn't get in.
I know, that's kind of why I did too.
Well, I mean, I was interested in watching it. I have boxed for exercise before, so I understand more about boxing than I do anything that has to do with like UFC or wrestling. I don't understand any of that. Boxing, I would say that I understand how difficult boxing is. So watching two people go at it and seeing how quick they are and whatever, I finally did get through, and I was able to watch. The majority of it. Do you have any thoughts on it? I mean, they both went 8 rounds. It definitely looked like Jake Paul was working him. Is Jake Paul like a really nice guy who just helped Tyson make money? Is that what happened?
Seems like it. Everything I've read and heard, not knowing boxing at all. And I know UFC a little bit more. I got a really strong ground game. That's all I got, though.
Are you talking about like grassroots voting mobility?
No, just like if I'm going to take somebody out, I'm going down to the floor. I'm going after your feet and your shoelaces.
You could tie them together real quick. Hold still.
Uh-huh. You kind of outed my strategy, but yes, that is what I do.
Nobody will see that coming. That's the most Ryan Wiggins thing you could do in a fight.
You got to get them talking. And then you just kind of keep them talking while you're tying.
Ask them about themselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's your favorite flower? Is
How
it a
long
crocus?
is that conversation? Crocus?
Is it a chrysanthemum? Can you spell that? And I just do that until they fall. Anyway, I don't know enough about boxing, but what I was reading was that everybody said this was such a light fight that it was like nobody was really going for the kill punch ever. It was like they were trying to make a long fight, which if that's the case, then it's not a real fight. The whole purpose of fighting is to knock the other person out. And if you're not doing that, you're making a show.
What do you think, Brad?
I'm with Ryan on there, but I will say that the rules and the way Mike Tyson was going to get paid showed that he needed to go long. And you watch a couple of these videos that I saw online, punches were pulled. Like it's like, oh look, there's the Mike Tyson dip, and then you're used to him just coming back with that left hook or the right uppercut or whatever, and he starts it and then he just doesn't do it. And then I also saw some footage of Jake Paul throwing some pretty good jabs, and he just couldn't land on Tyson's head. Tyson was bobbing and weaving. But I think those were early on, and then, whenever you're 58 years old, you run out of gas pretty quickly.
I just can't. I just assume that all of these things are predetermined. Every time. Even when you're not supposed to think they are. But they both got paid.
Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately that was the point, Annie. I think we found the whole point of the thing. It was the money.
Yeah. This is a shocker. Who didn't see that coming? I mentioned earlier in the show, Brian Stelter, I've got it pulled up here on his X post, and it's his pinned tweet. And I think that this is an interesting conversation to have, knowing that Brian Stelter, Mr. Reliable Sources from CNN, who got fired and then was like, can I come back? And they're like, okay.
Seeing eye potato.
Uh-huh. He put this out this weekend. The election results put an exclamation point on pervasive concerns about distrust and dissatisfaction with the news media. Now a reckoning is underway. Media execs and rank-and-file reporters are wondering what needs to change. I think this is interesting that this came out this weekend, and we know that Mika and Joe went to Mar-a-Lago Friday. So Brian Stelter from CNN is reporting that a reckoning is underway in the media, and people are wondering what needs to change. It's always important. Always, always, always important. When somebody shows up offering solutions, you need to make sure that you and the person offering solutions have agreed upon what the problem is. Because when you show up with solutions to problems that you don't agree on, you're never going to agree on the fix if you can't agree on what needs to be fixed. So in Brian Stelter's thread here, he says, media execs and rank-and-file reporters are wondering what needs to change. So here are some concrete ideas. A thread emoji.
Oh, interesting.
Podcasts, YouTube videos, and other digital sources are ascendant, while traditional news outlets are struggling to remain relevant. On social media, in-depth investigations get ignored, while misleading memes get shared millions of times. Frankly, some journalists feel defeated.
Oh no. That's terrible for
His
them.
first point is basically like they were out-memed. The ironic thing is that they are the meme. When he says that traditional news outlets are struggling to remain relevant, what you'll hear from him in the furthering comments, like, to me, he's like real close to a breakthrough, but he keeps kind of sideswiping. He's not brave enough to go straight to the center of the problem. The problem that I think Brian Stelter is trying to solve here is how to fortify and maintain news media, as it were.
Yes.
Like that, it's like he always gets close to something and then he takes a hard turn back into, frankly, some journalists feel defeated. Well, we don't care. It's not our job to make sure you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
You're not journalisming.
I'm actually kind of okay with the realization that some journalists feel defeated by this. Like, you've failed for so long, and now you're finally feeling the defeat. Seems like you're reaping what you sow.
He goes on, his next tweet in this thread is, what can news outlets do to regain trust and appeal to new audiences without alienating existing readers and viewers? Reliable sources readers have lots of thoughts and recommendation. I compiled them in this column. So he puts together for CNN a column of these suggestions. He goes on to say, listen to young people, learn from their media habits, and create content accordingly. How about new streams for center-right audiences and people who instinctively distrust politicians? I think it's funny that those are grouped together. Again, where he's like, maybe we should consider the fact that the center-right exists, and instead of vilifying them the entire time, acknowledge that they're out there and would potentially should be served with content about things that they care about. And he lumps that in by saying, if you are center-right, you instinctively distrust politicians. If the media is functioning correctly, they should distrust everything government and prove things to be true or prove things to be false. There should be no unearned trust in anything that politicians do from the media. Because if you're just willfully trusting what any politician or elected official is doing in the media, then you're not going to check them because you trust them. Like, at the very foundational basis of journalism is a verification of truth and facts in all cases with all people in all circumstances. But you're going to, in the same sentence, say here, there are center-right audiences that we should be paying attention to that are right there with the people who distrust instinctively politicians. No, you should be the one who's doing that. He goes on to say other streams could provide, quote, civic on-ramps, end quote, and relatable stories for first-time voters.
He's also acknowledging openly there, without saying it, that they have moved so far politically left that they've alienated even the center-right.
Yeah.
Like, well, we wouldn't even have any product for them anymore. The center-right. It's not the far right, but they're left of that.
He shares this clip. It says, listen to young people and learn from their media habits. As a media executive who asked to be anonymous said last week, quote, we're programming for the audience we have, not the audience we need. Americans in their 20s, 30s, and 40s are scrollers by default, soaking up news and views through headlines, memes, vertical videos, and other bite-sized bits of content. This engagement isn't as easy to measure or monetize as, say, a Nielsen-rated TV newscast, but it's not the, quote, future. It's the present. Maybe it's the past. So news outlets should produce content accordingly. As The Wrap's Sharon Waxman wrote, quote, if people have moved away from network news and broadsheet newspapers to opinionated podcasts and TikTok lies, then that's one signal of how things need to change. Again, sidestepping the problem here that needs to be addressed. They're saying that people aren't watching CNN because they're doing too much old-fashioned journalism on a newsy newscast. That's not why people don't watch CNN. And what CNN is doing in presentation, is it really that different in presentation? Like visual. The way you consume what CNN has to offer, is it really that different than what Fox News is offering? The details are certainly different. But Fox News is still a news channel. It's still a cable news channel, and they are doing well. Brian Stelter goes on to say, meet people where they are, like right here on this platform. As Milk Carton wrote this week, quote, social media can no longer just be thought of as distribution. Publications that aren't, quote, fishing where the fish are, end quote, are at risk of losing market share. So Brian Stelter is saying, like, X is a place to be.
It's interesting. This is a postmortem where they're realizing that they are dead and they have to change things. He wants to do it more for political reasons, but seems like he's maybe trying to appeal to the decision makers who are losing money on this and saying, hey, you guys, if you did this, you'd make more money. And also we'd regain our political relevance in this conversation.
Yeah, I think when you're watching Brian Stelter assess the situation, is it because their ratings have been so low for so long or just because their politicians lost?
It's politics for him.
Next tweet, make content for casual news consumers and those turned off by politics. As @C Warzel recently wrote, quote, people like to consume info when it's informally presented by parasocial relationships with influencers, end quote. Can news people make the, quote, influencer leap? That to me seems completely the opposite. What we want is an unfettered pursuit of truth presented for us to consume, not for you to input.
Yes, exactly. He's missing the big point here, which is that nobody trusts you. Your brand is tarnished because you tarnished it.
Yes. He goes on to say pop media bubbles through voter interviews and focus groups and make sure those sessions inform editorial decisions and panel discussions. So he's saying, like, check out what the voters have to think, go through focus groups, see what people are saying. Like, what does that have to do with what truth is? What does that have to do? Like, a bill that's being presented in the House, whether it's being presented by the right or the left, and then it gets conglomerated with a bunch of other things. That way, there will be a political hit job for everybody who supports it because it's the Clean Water Act, but it gives $100 billion to Ukraine. Made up scenario, I think, but maybe not. I don't know. When report on the fact of what it is instead of using your news report as a plea to influence people to not eventually support the scary orange man and the Hitler-esque Nazi-like supporters that he has. I mean, Stelter, can't you see the difference here? Going back to what I said at the beginning, the problem he's trying to solve is ratings for news outlets. It's not the death of journalism that he's trying to solve. And if anybody were to go out there and advocate wholeheartedly in the pursuit of journalism for truth, this would be the time for excellent journalistic reporting, like Catherine Herridge type reporting, where whatever it is, she's got her highlighter out and she's telling the truth and she's an advocate for what is real, and the chips fall wherever they may. You get to read her report or consume the information she reports and you go, holy crap, I didn't know that. And then you, in your own intellectual capacity, say, I feel X about this. That's what CNN has taken off the table. That's what MSNBC has taken off the table. That's what Fox News has answered because they took that off the table. And in my opinion, Fox News does a wonderful job of reporting the news. But of course, they also have commentators, political commentators on their network that do lean conservative because there's nowhere else for them to go, or at least there wasn't when they became so successful. Stelter says start stories at the beginning, not in the middle. And this is what we talked about earlier. Instead of Trump vows to impose tariffs, begin with what's a tariff? As Tim J. Graham puts it, quote, if the media thinks voters are uneducated, teach them. How many members of Congress? How many Supreme Court justices? There is such a club that exists when you watch a play. Like, there is so much assumption that is made by the viewer. When you turn, which you don't, when Morning Joe is on the television, they make such a presumption about what you have brought to your viewership of that show. There are just things that you have to feel that they're assuming you feel when you tune in. And when you tune in to watch that and they spoon feed you all of the disgust that you need that day to get your daily hit of why you hate Donald Trump day after day after day, and they make that assumption, then they don't bring in anybody new who might think even slightly differently.
What's amazing is all of this inward focused analysis that Stelter's doing, is coming to, and you sounds like you have maybe a couple more left, but they're coming to a conclusion that really the methods by which we're broadcasting and the message that we're broadcasting are fine. No, we didn't really do anything wrong. We just didn't reach enough people with that message. And he's completely missing the point that people aren't tuning out because of technology. That's part of it. People are tuning out because they don't trust you.
Yeah, he goes on to say, learn from podcasters. Note the big differences between talking and reporting, but recognize that both have value. Again, the outcome of changing that is a political benefit outcome, not a reporting. I would just counter to Stelter the exact opposite. What we want to see is actual, real reporting. Now, I don't need you to mansplain to me a little bit more why I'm wrong to vote Republican. He says, don't compromise on facts, but make room for feelings. Look for the deep story. Solicit questions from readers, viewers, and actually follow through with answers. How about research? Digital tools allow for two-way communication instead of media's typical one-way top-down approach. Answering questions puts the audience wants and needs first. Build trust beyond politics. As long as Trump keeps repeating lies and stoking controversies, the press will be seen as a hostile force by many Trump voters. But folks who don't believe or even bother to read those stories might still read coverage of, say, sports or business. Isn't that an amazing way? He's got a couple more tweets here. I'm not going to go on because we got to take a break. But he's trying this whole time to solve a ratings issue, an audience size issue for these news broadcasters that are the CNNs, the MSNBCs of the world, the people who feel like they lost this last election. If your network, if your news network feels like it lost this last election, that is all you need to know about the direction of your news reporting agency to the American people. It's a repudiation of what you've been doing. It's not because you don't have enough people to brainwash. It's because enough people have said, pass, hard pass. Because when people did tune into your networks, you were advocating for something that American people don't want you to be advocating for. They don't support it. They don't support what you stand for. And in one of his conclusions here, he has the stones to say, as long as Trump keeps repeating lies and stoking controversies. How ignorant.
You've learned nothing.
You're committed to it.
Yeah. We need to do a better job of getting the same message and the same methods by which we get there out, because that's how we were beat. We had a great message. We just didn't quite reach enough people with it.
In one of his last posts, he quotes an Inquirer.com post, and the headline is 2024's other big loser, the mainstream media. Is there any path forward? And Stelter says, and start small with local news. As Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Will Bunch recently wrote, quote, the war to reclaim reality begins there. Yeah, just go live in your own reality for as long as you need to, because it's working really well, at least at this point, finally, for the country.
We need more control over the media, is what he's saying. We didn't have enough control over everybody.
Brian Stelter, you tried so hard. You need to try even a little bit harder. I'll retweet his thread so you can read it all for yourself, if you so choose, on X, at Annie Fry Show. Come follow us. We'll be right back.
And I'm feeling good.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
When you get your heating system checked from Air Comfort Service, you can go to aircomfortservice.com and make sure that you have connected with them to get that heating system checked exactly the way it needs to be done and to do it with the best people in the business. Air Comfort Service maintenance plans start at only $19 per month. And if you pay monthly, you get your 12th month free. That's fantastic. Air Comfort Service has won an A-list award for Best Heating and Cooling Company in July and the BBB Torch Award for Business Ethics. Thousands of 5-star reviews, one of them from me. I don't know if I've ever physically done it on Google, but I have had service many times from Air Comfort Service, and I trust them wholeheartedly to give me the information I need in order to make decisions that best suit the experience that we have for our comfort zone in our home, but also our budget, because that's a realistic part of it, isn't it? If you want to reach out to Air Comfort Service to ask them to come do a heating system check on your home or to sign up for a maintenance plan, which is a wonderful way to keep everything in check and avoid costly repairs down the road, 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Reach out to Air Comfort Service and talk to them about that maintenance plan. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
For the past 3 seasons of Gone South, we've covered one story per season. Now, Gone South is back for a 4th season. But this time, we're doing things a little differently. In Gone South Season 4, we'll be bringing you news stories every week with no end in sight. Listen to and follow Gone South, an Odyssey original podcast, on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
Diamonds Direct's biggest and most spectacular sale of the year is starting now. For the first time, it's bigger than ever. Take 20% off virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, everything to make this holiday sparkle. This weekend, we're decking the halls with an expanded selection and top designers' appearances in the store. 20% off now through Sunday. Skip the Black Friday madness this year with Diamonds Direct. Open all weekend. For the best selection, quality, and price, shop direct. Get details at diamondsdirect.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
97.1 On Command. Just tell your smart speaker to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app and stay on top of everything happening anytime, even when you're not close to a radio. This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
This is the lead-in I was hoping for giving away Guns and Hoses tickets.
You just sound high. That's not, you gotta
It was
try again.
supposed to be sexy. I can't really get in my lower register right now very well. I'm a little
Why?
hoarse. I'm a little hoarse. I don't know.
You're a little horse, like
Yeah,
a pony?
Pony. We are going to give away Guns and Hoses tickets within 5 seconds.
I was going to say, I thought we were going to do it right now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, go. your number is 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797 if you want to win tickets to see Guns and Hoses the night before Thanksgiving. There you go. You get a pair.
What number?
Oh, I didn't say, did I? How about caller number 9?
To what phone number?
314-241-9797.
314-241-9797, caller number 9.
Indeed.
Okay. Break.
314-241-9797.
Yeah, they're all full now.
Yeah.
Good job. Average job.
Yeah, I don't know that I did a great job on that one, but we've got them all week, so.
There'll be another chance to do better.
Mm-hmm. The person who wins will not care how I did.
Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Let's see. Seems like I did. I already can't remember. No.
No, just is your answer. Say
Yeah.
no. What about you, Brad?
I did the anti-fun. I did a bunch of housework that needed to be done and yard work that needed to be done. So that's what I did all weekend long. So
Did you complete it?
You got it all completed, which was good.
I think that's fun.
Oh, I do remember what I did this weekend. Mostly catching up on paperwork. It was a blast.
You have to come back to work.
Yeah, it was so fun. My wife's sister, I don't know if you knew this. My wife is a twin. Yeah, you knew that.
My husband's a
Because
twin.
your husband's a twin. We've talked about this before. My wife is a twin. Her twin sister came into town.
Yeah?
And
that was a blast.
Here's what's crazy. They don't plan this. They were wearing the exact same outfit.
Are
when
they
she
identical
walked in.
twins?
They're very close. I think that there's like two main kinds of twins. There's fraternal and identical. They are like a third type that's rare. That the split happens in a
Sounds like
weird
something that would
spot.
Be reported on CNN.
Yeah. So they do look a lot alike, but they're not technically identical.
Yeah.
And when they go out, it's fun because our spouses are also teachers.
Mhm.
So once in a great while, she'll come on a weekday and they'll meet at school, and the kids just flip out
Because there's two.
because there's two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband's a twin, and they are as fraternal gets.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They don't look alike.
No, I don't think so. No, they don't look alike. Yeah, that's an interesting thing. I didn't do much this weekend. It was very mundane stuff, but I also have been trying to get Christmas decorating up, and I haven't gotten to it. It is very difficult in a house of 6 people to get the house where it needs to be before the Christmas decorations go up, because I am very particular about the house being spotless clean before any decorations go up. Do you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to an extent.
Do you do the decorating?
I do the tree because the tree is large and has to come up from the basement. So I bring the tree up.
Because you're the man.
And all the bins of decorations, I bring them all up and kind of set everything up and then let Katie do the fun part.
Are you like an elf in that instance? Does Mrs. Wiggins take charge? Is she a take charger where it's like, all right, we're getting into this and she's commanding the ship and things are getting done? Or do you do that and then you exit the stage?
Number 2.
You get out of there?
Yeah, I do a big number 2. I bring everything up, and then oddly, she really doesn't care what happens as long as we have our little record player in our living room, and that is our radio. It can play the radio too, but we use it for records a lot.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of old Christmas records.
Yeah.
Probably from my dad.
I have a ton of those estate sales.
Yeah, and
It's the
they're
best.
a dime a dozen. You just get nobody cares. It's just there's so many Christmas records.
There's
from
like
that era.
one Sinatra Ave Maria or something on it, and you're like, oh, I'll take that for a
Yeah.
quarter. And then so you listen to one, and I don't know what the rest of the stuff
Bunch
is.
of other stuff that who knows what it is. Country bluegrass Christmas from 1978. It's like weird stuff. So as long as we have Christmas music
We
playing,
might have the same record collection.
she's fine, and then she'll go back and kind of tweak everything later. Like the kids will put the ornaments up at this point, and she'll do a lot of the fireplace. Oh, we have to have the fireplace going too.
Heck yeah.
And
Is
she'll
it a wood
come
fireplace?
back. Mm-hmm.
Do you build the fire, or do you let the wife?
I do build the fire.
That sounds like there's more there.
There's not. There's definitely is not. I use a burner log. We don't get enough draft going through there. We can't get enough draft, so we have to start with something.
Is this the only time you?
Oh no,
burn
we
a
use
fire?
it all. We use it all winter.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
It's great.
Brad? How do you guys go about Christmas decorating?
So it's more of a team effort, especially in the outside. I'll, like Ryan, I get the stuff down and we put it all out there. But it's not even like a worker elf thing. We've actually got our outside decorations figured out. We know what we're going to do, so we just go out there and we accomplish that goal. Although this year is going to be different because we had to take out one of the bushes that we would usually wrap lights around. So we're going to have to refigure that. But the other side of that is too, we've got those LED wash lights on the outside of our house that you can change colors and all that other stuff. They're up, and they're up all year long. I had them in red, white, and blue for the election and after and all that other stuff. So
not orange.
Not orange.
Oh.
No, we saved that one for Thanksgiving. But we put those up, and that's a press of a button into the correct season to get those to light up the correct color. But Terry will decorate the inside. Like I'll come home from work one day whenever she's had a day off or something like that, and she'll put up a bunch of stuff. We don't go like wild crazy on the inside, but she's got little snowmen and stuff like that she likes to put up.
I love decorating for Christmas, but it's definitely like you got to get into it. You got to be in the mood, and then once it's on, it's on. And it is so nice now. Like my son is 5'11" almost at this point in time. Super helpful. Last year was the first time I was like, Charlie, put this stuff up over here. And then I just walked away. And then my oldest daughter, she is a great baker. So she'll be like, can I make Christmas cookies? And I'm like, yes, you can. So I'm starting to delegate everything. And it does not make me sad to watch this stuff happen around me. And if it's not exactly the way I would do it, I mean, I could tweak here and there. But I'm like, last year I had my nieces and nephews over. We did a Sunday brunch. And when we put up the Christmas decoration, we had decorated the whole house. The tree was the last thing because I had to wait for trees to be, because I got a live one. Had to wait for them to be, I guess we got ours last year at the Market Basket in Edwardsville. And I just let the kids decorate it completely. And I was like, I'll just edit it later. And I just never did. Mm-hmm. There was like, all of the ornaments were down here in this section where they were taking them out of the box. And I was like, it's fine. It kind of made me smile looking at it.
It's funny looking back. My brother is 8 years younger than me. So I kind of realized this earlier than most, that I think that young men go through a period of time, and I'm going to say this is roughly ages 13 through 19, where they really want to prove to you that they're strong and capable.
Let them go.
And you just go,
don't let them hurt themselves.
I gotta move this couch. I wish there was somebody around here that could do it. And usually if they're between those ages, they're going to go, oh, I could probably try that. And whatever it is. And then whether they can or not, if they're on the low end of that, they probably can't do as much. But the older and stronger they get, man, there's a sweet spot there where you can get a lot of work done by just suggesting things.
I say to my son, like with technology stuff, hey, can you go fix that? And he just goes and fixes it.
Mm-hmm.
And I now act like I don't know how to do it. And I've been wondering if I'm just going to say old people. Of which I think I'm putting myself in the category. Have you guys been lying about your ability to manage technology this whole time?
No, they're not.
Because when I go, gosh, this doesn't work, my son's like, let me have it. And he saunters over, and I'm like, I don't know, I think it's broken. And then he fixes it in 10 minutes, but I didn't have to get up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like getting onto the other side of this thing where, like, again, not intended to be the pejorative, but old people have not understood technology for so long. I think he just didn't want to do it.
Look, though, if you were born during World War II and you're now living alone and you're like, you know what? I just can't seem to figure out my wireless router. I'm going to go, I believe you.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think you do know.
But I think that the answer here, though, is they don't understand it, but they also haven't attempted to understand it because they know somebody else will do it for them.
Okay.
And I'm
okay.
I'm there for that.
That's fair.
Smart move.
I get mad when a program changes. Like Word is, I can't use Word program, 2003 anymore. I got to use 2007 now.
An app?
Yeah, an app.
You
That's
said program. I thought you were talking about your shows.
Well, I am talking about a computer program, not
when
just
they
an app
changed
on
the
my
intro
phone.
to Jeopardy on me.
Like when Clippy went away. I'm like, come on, where's Clippy?
Clippy.
I need help. Who's going to tell me what font to use?
That's the most annoying thing in the history of computers.
Stupid Clippy.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to give you the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Is Donald Trump cool, yes or no? Who is one of the most famously cool celebrity characters that had money and technology and knew how to do things? Tony Stark, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was an article in Variety at the end of October where Robert Downey Jr. comments on a question that was asked about him of Elon Musk cosplaying Tony Stark. And I found this to be really interesting. I'll give you that story when we come back. Plus, the results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Go vote. Is Donald Trump cool? We'll be right back.
What a wicked game
This is the Annie Fry Show.
to make me feel this
Find the
way.
podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Let me dream of you. What a wicked
TheDiamondShop.net Have you gone to shop for something so pretty at the Diamond Shop yet? I was there last week for their ladies' night, and good grief, they have a whole wide variety of beautiful things to fit any budget right now at the Diamond Shop. And when you invest in something from the Diamond Shop, it's timeless. I wore my strand of pearls that night, and every time I get them out, I love them. They are something that will last forever. I'll be able to hand them down one day, and it's kind of cool to create these family heirlooms with beautiful pieces from the Diamond Shop now that I know will mean something to my children in decades and decades and decades from today. If you are looking for a beautiful picture, or if you're looking for a beautiful example, or the ability to look through some of their merchandise without going into Clayton, you can go to thediamondshop.net. You can also, on the homepage, scroll down to the very bottom and sign up to become a VIP. It's all right there in Clayton, but also online at thediamondshop.net.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Astellas Pharma. Experience the beauty of custom-crafted windows that enhance your home's aesthetics and energy efficiency. Look no further than Infinity from Marvin, proudly brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. Why choose Infinity? These windows are not just strong, they're 8 times stronger than vinyl, providing unmatched security for your home. Plus, with Lakeside's expert installation, you're guaranteed precision and perfection. Visit our showroom or call Lakeside Renovation and Design today. Elevate your home with Infinity from Marvin, where strength meets style.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Is Donald Trump cool? We'll answer this question, but we still want to hear from you. You've got a few minutes to get your vote in before the end of the show. Yes or no? Is Donald Trump cool? Vote in the YouTube live chat poll today. We'll give you the results in just a few minutes. 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey, good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. On this Monday, I'll have an update on deer hunting in Howard County as we start here in a few minutes. Cassie Smedley, former RNC press secretary, joins at 3:25. Newly elected Congressman Bob Onder at 4:25. Plus, we have Sue's News, an audio cut of the day, and a whole lot more. It all gets started after Fox News at 3.
This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
We got 314 votes in so far in the YouTube live chat poll. Is Donald Trump cool? Come give us a vote and a comment here. I'm going to plow through a couple of these comments before I talk to you about the Robert Downey Jr. Elon Musk article here. RSG said President Trump is cool. All the kids are doing is dance all over TV, at college and pro football games, even at professional MMA fights. Shelley said, kind of like having a cool parent who wants to be your friend and they don't parent in a way that is helpful for their child's growth. I guess Shelley's a no.
Okay.
Do you feel like Donald Trump is cool?
Yeah, I do. And I think they hate it. I think the powers that be cannot stand that people are doing his dance, that people, refer to him. There's any sort of comedy. My camera just fell off, so if you're watching on YouTube,
how'd that happen?
You're going to get a first-hand view of my nose. Hello.
Well, that's kind of what we were saying at the beginning of the show when we were talking about the Mika Joe visit to Mar-a-Lago on Friday. And, when they go on MSNBC and they're doing morning show, they are very, very strongly like, we don't agree with him, but it is important to meet with these people and to talk with him. That is so far the opposite of what you were saying the entire time that you were trying to make sure he didn't get elected. You were like, do not platform him. Do not have a conversation. The folks on the left are literally telling you not to spend Thanksgiving and Christmas with your families.
Yeah,
but
over
now,
Donald Trump.
But now Mika and Joe are at Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. Which is it, folks?
That's a good point.
Which is it? But I don't believe that them going to Mar-a-Lago is as much about politics, because I actually feel like it would make more sense for them to double down on their efforts now and be able to be like, see, we told you. When all the bad stuff starts happening, see, we told you. The culture shift, which is very much so in line with whether or not Donald Trump is considered to be cool, because he doesn't have to be cool. It doesn't matter if he's cool. Going back to Rick Moranis, the Speaker of the House. Don't need him to be cool. I need him to do all the speakery things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was talking about Rick Moranis and Ghostbusters, which I've seen recently for the first time ever. I don't know about that. I was thinking more Rick Moranis in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
See,
Very smart.
I'm more of a Peter Scolari on this.
I have to Google that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peter Scolari played Rick Moranis' character on the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids TV show. So I'm thinking he's a little bit more like Mike Johnson. What do you think, now that you've Googled it?
The first question is, what ethnicity is Peter Sellers? So I don't think I even know how to spell
No.
Scolari.
You don't. He was also on Bosom Buddies with Tom Hanks.
Oh. I don't know. Stop asking me questions that I don't have a responsibility to know the answer to. Ron said Trump went full cool when he raised his fist and said fight. Was that the turning point? It could be.
Yeah, it was. Although he had all the credentials to be cool before that, the media had just succeeded.
That transcended.
That broke it.
Kurt said, yeah, it's a different kind of cool, but man, just look at what he's been able to accomplish in the face of all of this BS. The bologna sausage that has been heaped on Donald Trump is of historical proportions. And he's the next president. You wouldn't believe it if it were a movie. You'd be like, oh, come on.
No, that's what's amazing is that even before we get into presidency part 2 here, everybody has to acknowledge that even if you're on the losing side here, this is a period of history that you will remember forever.
Scooter said, I don't think Trump is cool in the sense of being a role model. Many role models aren't considered cool, which is what makes them a role model. And also, I could think of a lot of things about Donald Trump that I would look at my children and say, let me tell you about Donald Trump. Let me tell you about what he embodies to me. And that could absolutely be a role model. But Scooter goes on to say that the Beatles were arguably cool. We should have that conversation.
No, they weren't.
Beatles were arguably cool. People copied their hairstyles. Are more men dyeing their hair or combing it over, using more hair product?
That's the
I'm
criteria?
Sold. Donald Trump is the least cool person I've ever met because I don't see people.
Just are people doing the Rachel? That's what he's saying? That's what makes something cool or not cool.
He started the comment with the Beatles were arguably cool.
That's still up for debate.
Speaking of cool people, what's your opinion on Robert Downey Jr., the man, the actor, the felon?
I really want to like Robert Downey Jr., but he's in all those stupid political videos. Like, dude, just bow
Isn't
out.
it disappointing?
Yeah, you're
it's
like
you didn't have to do this.
The rest of them, you're always going to be in them. You don't have to be. You're like my friend. Why are you in those?
Brad, you like him?
I appreciate what he's overcome, the mistakes that he's made, and how he's risen above it.
Talk about a comeback story.
Yeah, I appreciate that about him. I think he is the perfect person to play Tony Stark. I cannot think of a better person to play Tony Stark.
Well, I mean, Tony Stark is Tony Stark, but Robert Downey Jr. made Tony Stark. When you say Tony Stark, everybody knows what that means. He did that.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, I mean, I like him from that sense, and the political thing is just like a bone that you got to spit out every now and then. You're like, no.
Listen to this Variety article. Robert Downey Jr. and Elon Musk briefly shared the screen together. Did you know this?
No.
In Iron Man 2. in which Downey's hotshot business tycoon Tony Stark met Musk while at the Monaco Grand Prix. It was a fitting moment as, quote, Iron Man screenwriter Mark Fergus once told New York Magazine that Musk partly inspired the screen iteration of Tony Stark due to their technological prowess, cockiness, and overall hot-headedness. But what does Downey think about Musk in real life? Well, this Variety article goes on to say, during an interview appearance on the On with Kara Swisher podcast, Downey was asked point blank about his thoughts on Musk's, quote, cosplaying Tony Stark, end quote, in real life.
Oh, okay.
So Downey said, I've only met him a few times. As an ultimate 60-year-old recovering white American male.
Recovering?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Is he transracial?
We don't know. Tropic Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I just wish that he would control his behavior a little more, but that's not on me. I know that all this idea of, quote, it's all okay because we got to get to Mars doesn't really hold water with me. But again, you have to look at all that he's done that demonstrates why he's valuable. Then the screenwriter for Iron Man, Fergus, said in 2022 that the movie version of Tony Stark was a mixture of these three characters: Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, and Donald Trump.
What?
Oh, man.
He viewed the Marvel character as if, quote, Musk took the brilliance of Jobs with the showmanship of Trump, adding, quote, he was the only one who had the fun factor and the celebrity vibe and actual business substance.
Wow.
One of the greatest characters of all time is Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and Steve Jobs.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It makes a ton of sense. And I contest that Robert Downey Jr.'s comment about Elon Musk was a compliment. He didn't say, when you say, what do you think about Elon Musk cosplaying Tony Stark? The answer is that Tony Stark is a cosplay, like a literal, non-real, it's a fictional character based off of someone Elon Musk. And Variety author, I will add on to this, that Tony Stark is a combination of Elon Musk and Donald Trump. I thought you loved Tony Stark. People are going to have identity crisis over this.
Yeah, what's he doing in these videos? It's like Mark Ruffalo calls him up. He's like, you got to be in this, right? And he's like, I guess I'll do it.
Michael Keaton was also in, he was in a Spider-Man Marvel movie. Michael Keaton came out and said about Elon Musk, they don't really respect you. They laugh at you behind your back. They think you're stupid. They don't want to hang out with you. They have nothing in common with you. They're not your bros. You guys, watching this post-election recalibration of everything, the mean girls that have been in your life, the bullies that have been in your life, have you ever watched them get their comeuppance? Mm-hmm. Have you ever been able to watch the entire social scene? People who have been willfully bullying people for so long. Have you ever watched the person who's the a-hole who's got their finger up when they're passing you and being a jerk on the highway? Have you ever watched them get pulled over? It's like that every day. We've arrived at a place where the social order is being restructured. St. Louis, our very own St. Louis. Wesley Bell, probably not going to have a whole lot of policy points in conjunction with what we'll have here on the show. But Wesley Bell replacing Cori Bush, the mean girls are losing, and common sense is winning, and maybe it'll all get back to policy. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that Donald Trump ended up being cool.
Yeah.
Brad, do you think Donald Trump is cool?
Oh, yeah, he's super cool.
87% of 333 people agree with you, Brad. Yes, Donald Trump is cool. It's a pretty vast majority. Doing the Trump dance all over the world these days. It's pretty amazing. Thank you for voting today and commenting. Thank you for being with us here. And if you're listening on the radio at 97.1 FM Talk or streaming us on the Odyssey app, you keep it right here because Mark Reardon is next.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Prescription products require completion of an online consultation with an independent healthcare provider and are only available if prescribed. Subscription required. Additional restrictions apply. See website for more details and safety information.
Did you know millions of people are getting prescription medications for weight loss, sexual health, better sleep, and more, all online? RexMD.com has made getting these medications fast and easy, with free delivery of the most popular medications right to your door. Just fill out a brief survey, and if appropriate, we'll prescribe and ship clinically proven options to help with issues like weight loss.
I've lost 45 pounds so far. It's nice to get back into clothes that I haven't been able to wear for a long time.
We can also help with insomnia.
I slept through the whole night. It made me feel very well rested and ready to go for the day.
And RexMD can improve your sexual health.
I felt like a young man again. My wife is happier. I am definitely much happier.
At RexMD.com, we've made the process fast, easy, and affordable. Visit RexMD.com right now to get started. That's REXMD.com.
What's it going to take for you to realize the IRS is in full-blown attack mode, and if you have IRS issues, your timely response is critical? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We certainly know the IRS has ramped up efforts because we're seeing a lot more clients with threats of intents to seize property or levy rights to property. If you have IRS issues, call the Lance Drury firm today. Today, don't wait. Those IRS notices have hard deadlines for exercising your appeal rights. If you miss the deadline, your rights to a legal appeal are gone. Let the Lance Drury Law Firm get between you and the IRS today, and we'll help you manage your case to achieve the best outcome. IRS problems are serious legal matters, so call Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Don't wait. Call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120, and schedule your free consultation with me, Lance Drury, or visit Lance,